Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome back to Music Discovery Club. This is our brand new podcast series where we talk to our close personal friends, brothers, siblings, soulmates, and we go. And you're looking at me. Did I just do my intro? Let me do my intro. But we talk about albums, like our friends' favorite albums, stuff that inspires them, and we all take about a week. We go through all the albums, we do a ton of research, and we learn about what makes these albums special to our friends, and along the way, strengthen our friendships,
Absolutely.
make memories.
I feel closer to you already.
Unfortunately, that is true. So today, this afternoon, not like we recorded one this morning at all. No, these are all recorded at different times.
No.
We are still in my home in redacted hometown, and we are with my darling brother, Brendan. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. So tell us a little bit about what album you chose.
I chose the greatest piece of art of all time, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by none other than the greatest human artist of all time, Kanye West.
You threw a little human
Well, because
qualifier on there.
well, God isn't human, and he's the greatest artist of all time.
Amen.
He is.
There it is.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen.
That's why I put human artist on there.
Amen. But
It's turned into a gospel podcast real quick.
amen.
We're not even doing Jesus is King.
We are not doing Jesus
No, we
is
are
King.
not.
Because what album are we doing?
My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Oh yeah, baby. It's a lot of
DTF. We'll
syllables.
just call it DTF.
A lot of syllables. Long ass fucking songs.
Or Twisted Fantasy or DTF.
I just call it DTF.
I like DTF. We're going
DTF.
with that.
I gotta call it
DTF.
Twisted Fantasy. But so if it sounds like we're exhausted, it's because Anthony is very tired. And if I fall asleep on the podcast, you're gonna get to see it live on YouTube because these are up on YouTube now too. So we do a video recording of these, and I look totally not fat at all.
Absolutely not.
Not
You're
even a
looking fit.
little.
Look at you, buddy.
I look fat as fuck. Don't flex into the Brendan.
Yeah, I look kind of fat.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait, where's the camera?
It's
It's
that the
Oh.
camera?
it's right over there. Yeah. The but yeah, so we let you guys know a week ago that we are reviewing and we're gonna go through Twisted Fantasy. If you went through and you listened to all the tracks, you did some research on your own, definitely hit us up with stuff after the fact. But so Brendan, I know that you really like Kanye. I also really like Kanye, but I think we're on a different level because you did something recently which I would call it's alarming a little bit that you had that much free time on your hands.
It was the hardest week and a half of my life.
Yeah, I bet. Right after you get back from military training,
Leatherboy bondage camp.
Leatherboy bondage camp. Sorry.
Leatherboy Academy.
Leatherboy Academy. So why did you choose Twisted Fantasy?
I chose it because it's, I don't know, since I really started listening to music, like when you're younger, you just kind of listen to whatever your parents play. You listen to the radio. You have a few songs on your iPod and whatever. But like once I actually, I don't know, you get your own Spotify account. You start like looking at your own stuff. I've always been attracted to Kanye because I've been musically attracted to Kanye, and we'll leave it at that. But yeah, I mean, he's just hit for hit, like album for album. Nobody tops him. He inspires me. I mean, I don't have the same struggles or like feelings that he does, but everything he does can be inspirational to anybody. Every mood and theme in his album. And Twisted Fantasy is the most emotional, most inspiring album that he's made, and I think it's an absolute musical masterpiece.
So do you like it more than, or you think in terms of like an actual pivot in his sound? I'm not gonna play I will play devil's advocate a little bit. 808s I think was a little more pivotal in establishing Twisted Fantasy as the project that it is.
Yeah, well, 808s came after, right?
808s came before it.
Before it. I mean, yeah, it was right before it. Yeah.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No,
what
no,
I'm saying is
no,
you're
no,
saying
no, it
this,
was right before it, and 808s was when he really started like moving more into like
auto-tune.
Auto-tune, synths,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, they always said that, like, this DTF, I'm never going to get used to that, but
Yeah.
Twisted Fantasy, I'm going to go with you now.
Yeah.
They say it's like a combination of all of his previous albums, from College Dropout to 808s. like all those. I think it was 4 years from 2004 to 2008,
Mhm.
and then so like I guess that's how it is, like the culmination of all of his past albums, singles and whatnot. That's what I've heard at least.
Yeah,
Would you
it's
agree?
definitely like you can find all of his previous albums within this one. It's kind of like I don't know, like all the ingredients get mixed in the bowl, and it came out with this. But this is just, yeah, 808s was probably his most pivotal in terms of sound because it was a huge switch from Graduation to then, and yeah, this one's just, I mean, I don't know where I'm going. But
Yeah, you're doing a great
yeah.
job. I'm glad that we have you
Putting you on
fucking
the spot.
anchoring this.
Well, it's also pivotal, I think, in his personal life, right? Like, because this was the year after the 808s Heartbreak was the Taylor Swift incident at VMAs. Then the year after that, they came out with Dark Twisted Fantasy, and it was like he'd been going through some rocky stuff in his personal life, I believe, and especially after that. And so come out with like such an emotional album like this, I feel like it was more meaningful, probably to him personally, than his previous 4 albums before this.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happened. I mean, he kind of had that like breakdown, or people called it a breakdown, and it kind of was.
What do you call it?
I call it an expression of emotion.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, he had that incident, and he was public enemy number one.
Yeah.
And people,
Obama called him a jackass.
yeah, I got that in my notes.
Jackass.
But yeah, and fuck Jay Leno. We'll get to that later. Fuck Jay Leno.
Okay.
But
all right.
I don't know that story.
All right,
whoa,
yeah,
you'll
we'll
hear
get
about it.
there.
You'll hear
All
about it.
right.
But yeah, like this is just kind of the production. This is like the outcome of all of the things that he went through in that time, and the death of his mother was still weighing on him, and this was just kind of like he boiled over, and then public enemy number one, and everybody was like, oh, he's washed, he's kind of done with music, he's like he's not a star anymore, all this stuff. Like, he's a star in the eyes of the public, but he's not like a musical star. He can't put out hits anymore and stuff like that. And then he came out with this and changed music forever. It was the album of the decade.
So we talked about it a little bit earlier, but I'm actually not sure if you 100% like answered my question. You took on a really ambitious project lately.
Yes.
What did you do?
I took every Kanye album, all 9 studio albums that have been put out to this point. I left out mixtapes like Watch the Throne and Don't Like.
Sorry, you're popping super hard in the mic. I was trying to make it less obvious. Stop. Talk a little bit into the side of it so you don't like pop.
Okay.
Much better.
Is this better?
Much better.
Okay, yeah. So I don't like that. but
Just talk. Whatever. Do whatever you want. We can just edit them out. We can edit them out.
Okay.
We can edit them out. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I took all...
Talk into it normal. You sound weird now.
Is this better?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, so I took all 9.
You were on one before. We've been over this.
Yeah, I know, and I talked like this into it.
It's fine.
You just go, dude.
So so I took all of the songs off of all 9 of his albums and ranked them 1 through, I think it came out to
49 or something like
No,
that.
it was 115 or something. Took out all the skits, but left a few things that could be like considered skits, like Who Will Survive in America, stuff like that. Of course, those ended up near the bottom because, I mean, they're not like full songs. They're kind of like skits and stuff, like I'll Fly Away and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I took them all. I listened to every album 2 to 3 times through. I ranked each song by album. So that way I wasn't comparing 116 songs at a time. I was comparing 9 at a time. I'd take the top one from each album and whoever came out on top, I'd take that one, and then you compare the next 9 songs. So my room in my apartment was full of index cards color-coded by album.
Have you ever seen that Netflix documentary, or it was like a miniseries about the Unabomber?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
how thorough he was with his research and process. I'm not going to go ahead and say that you had similar tendencies, but if someone were to have walked into your room, would you have felt a compulsion to murder them and put them under your bed?
Well, all my
Don't go ahead and implicate yourself in anything.
no,
please. I can neither confirm nor deny.
I totally did not. No, no, but all my housemates walked in at some point or another, and they're like, "What the fuck is this?" And I was like, "Well,
You said
I told them what I was doing. They're like, "Why are you doing that?" And I was like, online classes. Like, what else do I have to do? I mean, come on. But yeah, I put a lot of work into it, and it was the hardest thing I've ever done, really, because, like, honestly, like, yeah,
It's
it
my
was
life's work, honestly.
it's my magnum opus. It was the hardest thing I've ever done because I can understand anybody putting any of 100 songs as their number one. I can totally see everybody's view on every song, and seriously, like, anything in the top 100, I love the song.
Yeah.
Like, it was really tough. But it was all personal, like my personal opinion. It wasn't like, oh, these are the top Kanye songs, period. Like, But yeah, it was fun and it was tough.
Yeah.
And I tweeted it out.
You did.
And anybody who argued with me, I said,
Sorry, it's not up for debate.
I said sorry, it's not up. Or I said I see a lot of responses and critiques, but I don't see a lot of other lists. Nobody else has done that, so we can talk when you make one.
I found that wicked funny that you went and did all of it. I think there are a few songs that were rated a little low, but the interesting thing, and I think this is the reason we're talking about the album right now, is that very, very skewed towards Twisted Fantasy at the top of your list.
Yeah, the top two
Yes.
songs, Devil in a New Dress, then Runaway.
Monster's like 11. So Appalled is like
high,
6.
So Appalled's high, Power's high.
Thought Hell of a
Sadly,
Life was
All of the
also-
Lights is low.
Hell of a Life was kind of low. All of the Lights was
It's like
low.
25 or something like that.
Yeah, it was top 25. Blame Game, sadly, love that song so much, but it fell. It just kept falling down the board.
Well,
it was a steal in the draft.
We'll retweet this out from our account, so at MDC Show on Twitter, and you can go ahead and take a look and give your critiques. Brendan loves when people yell at him on Twitter. Absolutely loves it, eats it up. A bit of a sadist in a way. Like, hit him. He's a little pig boy.
I'm looking for beef on Twitter.
Yeah.
Always. I love a good Twitter beef.
Yeah. Brendan likes to play in the mud like a little pig boy.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
just dive right in the mud and enter the pit with me. Like, I
Bare knuckle paradise.
I
No
don't-
holds barred.
I don't love. It doesn't even have to be a fight or a beef. We can just have a conversation that eventually turns into a fight. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. Very inviting. But
Or agree with me. That works too.
No. Not people on Twitter don't agree on anything. But okay. So you have a particular fascination with this album, but so you have been taking pages of notes. Definitely not like a crazy person. Am I allowed to
It's
use
pages of notes like you would take in a class if you didn't want to bring your laptop. You have to charge your laptop. I don't have to charge my notebook. Don't have to charge my pen.
Yeah, but I don't know what any of those
Old
things
school.
say. You could have that could be pages on pages of
It's
bomb instructions. I wouldn't know
It's all-
until you
it's all-
until
I'm
you
not
until you
the
get to
Unabomber.
until you get to page 10.
Stop.
The no, but okay. So go ahead and enlighten us, because you told us specifically don't do research into how the album started, like into like
Yeah.
the making of it. You
I
said don't.
I didn't want you guys to find
So
one
we
of
didn't.
these stories.
No.
because
So I did 0. I literally listened to the album. I don't know anything else about the making. This is the Brendan Show. I'm sorry in advance. Please proceed. The floor is yours.
All right. So I guess we
You
started.
can talk now.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll allow it.
Mm-hmm.
Please.
So I guess if we start with the origins of Twisted Fantasy, it comes after graduation and 808s. Most importantly, his mom died right after. Donda died right after the release of Graduation. So you see a lot of his like sorrow in 808s and especially in Twisted Fantasy. The most notable thing that happened before Twisted Fantasy was the infamous 09 VMAs.
Yes.
The I'll let you finish, but Beyonce had the greatest video of all time. And did his outburst have something to do with ego? I say no. Some people say yes. I say no because that was selfless. That was him going up there and defending Beyonce.
Selfless. I agree.
I don't
Getting
know.
getting on stage and taking away the spotlight from somebody else. I would say
To prop up another person.
egoless, selfless. I don't think Kanye was thinking about Kanye at all there. I think he thought that I'm doing a good thing for one person by ruining another person's. Actually, no. He quote made that woman famous. I made that woman famous.
He did make that woman
Yes.
famous. So yeah, a lot of public backlash after that. Also, probably had something to do with the bottle of Hennessy he had in his hand all night.
Yeah, that might have
Could have
contributed
influenced
to.
it.
Amber Rose in one hand, Henny in the other.
Sounds like a great night.
It does. So obviously that happened. Right afterwards, there's a lot of. Do you want what?
No, keep going.
Yeah, right afterwards, the public uproar happens. Taylor Swift is interviewed about it, and they're like, "Oh, like, are you a Kanye? Like, were you a Kanye fan?" And she's like, "Yeah, he's Kanye West. Like, yeah, I was a fan." I mean, also she was like 18 at the time.
Yeah,
and
she won it for "You Belong with Me," I think, which is her
Yeah.
first like big hit. I think she was like 18, 19.
Yeah,
at
she
the
was like
time.
18 or 19, and it's this 30-year-old guy like coming up and stealing the spotlight. So obviously they take the side of the young girl, like the innocent country singer.
Likely
Understandable.
story. Likely story.
Understandable.
Unlikely story, yeah.
So okay,
You know how you know how the media is.
All right, if you're listening, you can see I have a little bit of a Kanye bias, but
Maybe.
I'm trying to play down the middle.
Yeah, you're doing fine.
So then Obama's showing the video, and like this is like before an interview.
What a jackass.
No, yeah, he goes like, yeah, he sees the video, like somebody shows it to him. It's just a camera that's on before an interview, and he's like, man, like that guy's a jackass. Which, also,
I don't
that's
like-
the most powerful man in the free world
I don't like
calling you a jackass.
I don't like my president using swear words. I'd prefer my president never use swear words or make fun of anyone ever.
Yes.
I have high standards for my president, and I won't stand by any president using bad language. He's not allowed to use the pussy word.
Okay, so
I don't want him to use the bitch word either.
I'm not
No,
getting I'm
none
not
of those.
I'm
And
not,
certainly not the jackass word. That is where I draw the line.
I'm not getting into politics here. I'm
Carry on.
So yeah, the most powerful man in the free world calls you a jackass. And then Kanye goes on this apology tour. He apologizes in person, all this stuff, or he says he wants to apologize in person. He went on Leno, and this is where I say fuck Jay Leno, because what a fucking dick thing to do. He goes on Leno as an interview, clear the air, apologize, and Leno's like, "Oh, like, have you reached out to Taylor?" And he's like, "No, like, I'd really want to apologize in person, like, if I get the chance." And Leno goes, and I quote, "I was fortunate enough to meet your mom. What do you think she would have said about this?"
Oh,
On live TV.
dude.
Live TV puts him on the spot.
I've never
Like,
heard
like
of that
oh,
before.
like yeah, your mom died 2 years ago. Yeah, what do you think she would have said about this? And Kanye starts tearing up,
Of course.
and takes like a minute to answer, and he's like, "It was rude. Like, I want to apologize in person. Like, she'd be ashamed of me." Just what a like awful thing to do. I hate Jay Leno. God,
I hate Jay Leno for other reasons. I'm a big Conan guy, and Jay Leno
huge
fucked
Conan,
Conan
huge
over.
Conan guy too. Fuck Jay Leno.
Fuck Jay Leno.
And
Conan
his
is
stupid ass garage.
I don't care about his garage at all. Not once. I never actually had heard about that. So listen, right? I'm a newer Kanye fan. I'll say it. I've gone back and I have respect for his older stuff now too. But I don't know if I don't actually. I know for a fact I didn't take his side when this first came out. I was definitely in the camp of being like, "Fuck Kanye." Kanye took this. And I didn't even like Taylor Swift. I was just like you egotistical piece of shit. My respect for Kanye now is like really high, and I think people give him a lot of shit. And he's bipolar. He has bipolar disorder, and manic and depressive episodes are no joke. They're nothing he can control, and when he slips out, you need a coping mechanism, and I don't think anything in his life is firm enough, and for good reason. I mean, if I were him, I wouldn't trust the people around me, especially given the amount of fame that he's had since he's been like 23 years old.
Well,
Yeah.
especially since his rock in his life died.
Well, Donda's dead, and his other supposed rock is Kim Kardashian, and I don't even want to get into that so much.
Not at this time though. Like at this time, like
No, but I'm saying
now,
in general, just like actually, this was the right beginning of Kim. It was 2010.
It was right before Kim, yeah.
Right. No, it was right.
No,
right before Kim.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
right before Kim. But I think he's definitely he's grown on me. Like I've grown and I've developed an appreciation for him, but not in at this point in time I was definitely anti Kanye. So going back, I think I'd probably have more sympathy, just because when people are talking about like right now, right? He's having a breakdown now. Like you see it on Twitter every single day. He's in Wyoming again. He's arguing with Kim. He's asking for a divorce. He's saying Kris Jenner's trying to fucking get out him.
He also
like,
came out and said that the divorce thing, he already apologized to Kim K and stuff, and Kim K is now like tweeting selfies with him again. So he was having an episode.
Yeah, he is having an episode, and it's like everyone sits there and goes, Kanye, oh, this is great, dude. Because you know what happens when Kanye has a mental breakdown? He puts out a fucking masterpiece, which is what happened right before Twisted Fantasies. So I go there and I go, I don't really care about the music. I just want Kanye to be healthy and happy.
Well, yeah.
Well, after he put out Yay, I was like, oh man, like this is awesome. Like
Ye came back. Ye was a comeback.
Kanye's back.
Kids See Ghost was really good too.
Yeah, and that summer he puts out Daytona. He puts out the the Nas album.
The Nas album was garbage, but that was Nas's fault. That wasn't.
He produced 4 albums no 5 because the Tiana Taylor album. So he produced 5 albums that summer.
Mm-hmm.
All pretty good except for the Nas.
The production on them was all really good.
Pretty good to very good.
Yeah.
And oh, sorry.
No.
Sorry, I was gonna say before we stray off of the whole like his mother and thing, I just want to let you guys know. I'm not sure if you're aware. He was supposed to release his 10th album July 24th of this year.
Correct.
Donda with Child, and so I think it was just important to bring that up. Like when you were talking about, if he's having a breakdown, people are gonna have good music, but he was already supposed to release it. So
he has a lot of work that he has scrapped albums that have never. There's a whole bunch of albums that I'm sure you know that have just never come out. Yandi was one of them that he created, and you listen to some of the songs on Yandi and like Use This Gospel off of Jesus is King is a copy of a song called, I forget what it was called, but it was better in the original version. But he went and took a total gospel spin, so he took away all the songs. Like some of the songs are like really dirty references to like
and he had New Body.
New Body is, I love New Body. That'll never come out.
The Internet with Post Malone had a Kanye verse in it.
Yeah.
And that was supposed to be but there's a lot of stuff that was unreleased, and there are any artist that works with them says like the amount of unreleased, like the amount of songs I've recorded with them and then they've never seen the light of day.
Yeah. Pusha T has come out and said that he records them all the time.
He's probably got like thousands of songs that have just never come out.
So you hate to say it like this, but I'll say it regardless. And this isn't wishing anything. I truly hope to God that Kanye is mentally healthy more than I wish that he ever puts out a good album. I just want the dude to be okay. If and when Kanye passes away in 40 years from now, you're going to end up with a Prince and a Michael Jackson situation where they are coming out with new... and it sucks, right? Because that's how the music industry works, is they're going to milk him for... his estate... Kardashians are going to... He's going to will everything over to the Kardashians or something like that, or will it over to somebody, and they're going to take his music and release it for decades. You're going to get new Kanye stuff. And it's going to be shit. It's going to be the same stuff they did with like X when X died.
And Juice WRLD now.
And Juice WRLD, like Juice WRLD's album like wasn't that bad. X's album was terrible because it was just studio cuts of a dude who was, obviously X is going through shit too. They cut up everything together. They released it as an album because they're like, oh shit, like we can wring him out. We can wring out his dead corpse for more fucking money. Because the music industry is fucking savage. But
as Bo Burnham said, we'll stop beating this
dead horse when it stops spitting out money. Because listen, right? So, we'll talk about Bo Burnham a little bit just for 1 second because Bo Burnham's Kanye rendition is I go back and I listen to that once a month.
Phenomenal.
That is the exact thing that we saw on the Life of Pablo tour.
Yeah.
The St. Pablo tour. When we saw that,
he was having a breakdown. He was just going up there, he was rambling. They had a really good gospel like synth thing behind him, and his $90 t-shirts weren't selling well. I think that was most of it.
Yeah. No, and but in real life, sidetrack real quick. That concert was the greatest concert I've ever seen. I will never see a concert.
I know because I almost didn't go. I scalped the ticket outside. I didn't buy a ticket with you guys.
Oh, yeah. You just came to get pizzas with us beforehand.
I went to go get some pizza, and you guys were like, we're going to Kanye, and I was like, I'll go to Kanye.
You bought a ticket for half the price I did, and I
bought a ticket for $50 because it was behind the stage, and then the stage got up, and it moved. There wasn't a bad seat in the place.
Wait, where was that concert?
The Garden.
So
it's the best show I've ever been to. I was high on life.
On the St. Pablo tour, he did this thing where everywhere he went, he had a floating stage. So you know how like the Garden has You got the lower bowl in the balcony.
Yeah, yeah.
In between that, it was floating like above the lower bowl but below the balcony, and it was just going like from like
It's like
crease
tilting.
to crease, like from basket to basket.
I'm
Oh
looking
yeah.
at it now. This
And
looks
he's like-
sick.
But the thing is, they would flash light straight down and over.
Yeah.
Like light would like cascade over the top of it. So like from the actual pit looked insane.
Yeah, being
was-
in the pit was like $1,500 though.
No, I know. Like my friends were there, and they were because they were. I was like, oh, I've been to that show. They were, oh my god, were you in the pit with me? And I was like, no, trust fund kid. I scalped the ticket outside for $50 because your boy isn't
Yeah.
and wasn't making very much money.
And I scraped together. Me and my buddy scraped together a bunch of money, like working extra hours and stuff, just to buy a ticket online, like
Yeah.
a real, like a not scalping or anything. And then, yeah, that concert was just wild. And like
Nothing is ever
and
matched.
he was tethered to the stage,
Yeah.
so it could tilt and stuff.
So he
and
was
it
like he was
would
like
fall off.
he was like
I just
he was
saw
just like
that, yeah.
straight leaning, and he was like
During-
laying down.
during Heartbreak, like they went to one end and it tilted, and he's just laying down, like looking at the sky, like
Yeah.
singing. It was,
Well,
yeah.
and that was an incredible show, and nothing will
Not
ever stick
Heartbreak,
up to it.
Heartless. That's what I meant.
But here, let's go ahead. Because I want to hear you. You've been hyping it up forever. I do want to hear the background of Seb. And listen, this is something where I'm praying that you got your sources right, that you backed up, you double checked things.
No, yeah, we'll
You
get
can
to-
say
we have a-
allegedly.
We have a minute or two before we get to that story,
Okay.
because that's the greatest story of all time. It's the most Kanye story. So
All right.
after all the VMA stuff, the Leno stuff, whatever, he was slated to have a tour with Lady Gaga
I heard.
and canceled it.
Yeah.
And they mutually agreed, like, hey, we should cancel this. And then, sorry.
Was this
No,
whenever
no,
he made,
no.
was
Oh,
this
yeah,
whenever
No,
he
no.
made
I'm
the comment?
figuring out something. I get my audio screwing up a little bit. Don't worry about me.
Yeah.
Alright.
You,
Wait,
can,
was
you can you can talk to him.
Was this whenever he had he was on the radio show? One of my favorite clips of Kanye is all the time. He's like, yeah, and they got Lady Gaga, Polaroid, and like they like advertise. And he goes, "What? I love her music, but what does she know about cameras? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
Was that? I love
That was.
that
I think that
interview.
was later. Like that was recently, because I think they were asking him about what happened back in
Oh,
09.
that's
I
what it
think
must
that's what
have
it
been.
was. But
one of my favorite
Yeah.
clips.
oh yeah, great clip, classic Kanye. And so he cancels that tour. One of his trusted friends, Mos Def, says, "Look, you need to get away. Like, just leave the country." So Kanye went to Japan. Then he went to Rome in November of 09. Stayed in Rome for a while, interned at Fendi, and that's when he really started getting into the fashion stuff. That's when him and Virgil Abloh like started like, oh, okay, like that's like I might have a future in fashion. And then he loved it so much in Rome, working at Fendi, he was like, I'm retiring from music.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's done it a few times.
He straight up, yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So is
Jay-Z's retired after every album for the
Conor
past.
McGregor's retired 3 times this year, like yeah, and 4 times last year. And so then he decided eventually, like late 09, he was like, all right, I'm going to come back to the music game, of course. Like it's like a pro athlete. Like you see all those guys return from retiring or like all the time because they retire, they think it's over, and then they miss it and they want to come back.
Yeah.
He said he had more to give to the music game, a lot more. So he moves to Hawaii for 6 months, starting on January 1st, 2010. Moves to Hawaii, 6 months. It was Apex Studios, I think. Rents out Apex Studios, 24 hours a day, indefinitely. Just no other artist allowed to record in that studio. The entire thing in Hawaii.
Yep.
And so, sorry, I gotta get there. There was an interview with RZA, who was on the album a lot.
Yeah,
And-
from Wu-Tang.
Yeah. And RZA said he was talking about the schedule and the ridiculous, like, this isn't the story, by the way, but he was just talking about like the ridiculous regimen that they had. Every morning they wake up at like 10. All the producers, all the artists that are there, they have breakfast together. They talk about like the past, like the day that before, what they're going to do today, and how they're going to move that into like the following week, month, whatever.
Yeah.
Then they go to the YMCA and they just work out together, play basketball. RZA was like, yeah, they get the chi up. They get all the good energy up. And then at around 4, They go to the studio, and they stay there from 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. just recording. There were signs in the studio, like somebody took a picture of the signs. It said like, no pictures, no tweeting. You do not talk about anything that happens in the studio outside of the studio. Like stuff like that. Like ridiculous.
Restricted area, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it was just strict classified information. So yeah, January starts the album. And oh yeah, so and then just other things in the production. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out where to fit this story. So
Just let it flow, dude.
So Pusha and Kid Cudi and all these guys, like looking back, they're talking about like, man, he let us come in, just have complete creative freedom. Cudi talks about how that was like the start of his like kind of relationship with Kanye, and that's how him and because Kanye was like, he would let him go like on his own, like in a room in the studio, and just write hooks, write verses, whatever.
He'd give him complete freedom, except for when he locked him in the studio for 12 hours.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have complete freedom inside this prison cell.
Yeah, and Kanye apparently never really slept. He only took like power naps. Like he never had a full night's sleep when he was like saying his like glass mansion or whatever. Yeah.
All right.
I
So
love
guess
pregnant pauses too.
I guess everything else I can tie
Okay,
into
here,
each
listen,
song
listen,
during the
listen.
track
I'll
reviews.
help you with your segue.
No.
So there's a really
no,
interesting.
No, stop. No. So everything else I have we can talk about when we get to the actual songs. Two stories. I'll leave the best for last. This one is Aziz Ansari talking about before Twisted Fantasy was released. He was with Kanye for whatever reason. I think he was at a club with him.
Okay.
And just like hanging out, drinking, whatever, bottle service. And Aziz is like, I've never had bottle service. He's like, I'm a celebrity. I'm not that celebrity. Like
Yeah.
I'm not yay big. And yay big, that's like yay big. Yeah.
God. Yeah.
Oh boy. Story time.
This is
So-
rough.
So Kanye goes, hey, like, you want to come back to my house? And he's like, yeah, I want to come back to your house. And so he goes back, and Kanye's like just playing him stuff from Twisted Fantasy. Knock at the door. It's this luggage delivery guy. He brought by 2 Louis Vuitton suitcases. And Kanye, he was just bringing them by so Ye could go, I want that one. And the kid would leave. The kid comes by, and he's like, oh, Mr. West, like, which one do you want? He's like, drop that one, like, walk around with that one. And the kid's, like, strutting around the living room with that one. He's like, all right, pick up that one and walk around with that one. And he's like, all right, like, I like that one, picks it. And as the kid's on his way out, he goes, yo, like, come here. Like, let me know what you think. Like, you want to hear something? And played him, like, cuts from Twisted Fantasy months before they were released.
Dang.
And just imagine being like that, like, I don't know, 20-year-old guy that's just like, man, yeah, I'm working this minimum wage job.
No, you think? No, I want to be a luxury luggage salesman that
Yeah.
goes to fucking Kanye's
Was
house.
he okay? Well,
Minimum wage.
okay,
He's working for
no,
Ye.
I'm imagining him as not the salesman, but just like the delivery boy.
Sure,
Yes.
I'll do it.
Oh yeah, no.
I'll
and
strut
all,
around
all
in
of a
his
sudden,
house.
all of a sudden, you're hearing the greatest album of all time.
I'll do it for
before it's released.
free. Yeah.
So I just thought that was hilarious. Yeah, he's like, oh, tell me which one you like. Like getting this random guy's opinion. Here is the greatest story of all time. In 2017, Rory Farrell guest starred on a pod. It's called A Waste of Time podcast. I don't know what it is. Rory is the co-host of the Joe Budden podcast.
Okay.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
So he interned at Def Jam.
Okay.
During the summer 2010, which is when Kanye came to the record label and was like, hey, this is what I got.
That was after his stint in Hawaii.
Yeah. Nobody had seen Kanye in months, like 6 months. And because he left the country, went to Hawaii, complete seclusion.
So like no one heard from him either.
No, nobody at the record label had heard from him.
Okay.
Like they knew, oh, Kanye should be coming in soon. Like he's supposed to give us an update.
Yep.
And so he comes in July. This is during the Rosewood era. Like that's when he's wearing black suit, black tie. Him, Virgil Abloh, a couple other guys, like his posse.
Yeah.
They're stunting. Like that is the Rosewood era.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, disappeared to Paris back whenever.
Yep.
And then comes back. And he walks into they get a call like, hey, Kanye's coming in. So everybody like gets in a meeting room, gets all set up.
No. What Kanye called him ahead of time was like, come in tomorrow.
Yeah.
He's like show up.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And they show up, and they're in the room, like, sitting there waiting, like, and he walks in. Rory says he thinks it was Don C's son, but he's not quite sure.
Who's Don C?
Don
C.
Cheadle?
Yeah.
No, not
no,
Don
Don-
Cheadle. I don't know who Don C is.
Don C's.
Whatever, music guy.
What's I'm
Music
saying?
guy.
I don't know who
Keep
he is
going,
either.
keep
That's why I was just saying.
Fine,
He's
keep
one
going.
of Kanye's like buddies. I'm pretty sure he's a music guy.
Right, yeah.
Probably makes me look like
Makes
an idiot
sense.
to everybody listening. Whatever.
I don't fucking care.
And so Kanye's wearing like a Louis Vuitton suit, he's dressed to the nines, and Don C's son, we'll just call him that because Rory's not sure, is wearing an identical suit to Kanye. It's a kid. It's like a 10-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought when I first heard this story, I thought you said it was a little person.
I thought it was a midget, but then I went back and listened. Sorry, I thought it was a little person, but then I went back and listened.
We're not censored. It doesn't matter. Go ahead.
And then I went back and listened, and I was like, oh, no, that was a real person. No, it's not what I meant.
Just so you know,
Oh,
Don
we
C.
can't edit. I thought that was a real person.
Just so you know, Don C was
like,
his
Like a
manager
full
and
real
best
person.
man at their wedding.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
fashion designer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So he walks in, and he sees that everybody else in the meeting room, they're dressed in like the normal, like wear a dress shirt, like in khakis or whatever. And he walks in, he throws an absolute fit and goes like, I'm not doing business. I'm not doing business today until everyone is in a suit, and walks out. Him and Don C's son just walk out. So everybody in that room, including Rory, who's an intern at this time, like he's in college still, they go, shit, like tomorrow everyone needs to go out, get the suit tonight. Like tomorrow we're back here. And so they're all wearing suits, and they walk in. And then so the next day they're all wearing suits. Kanye walks in, same kid, same suits, like still dressed identical. Throws a briefcase on the table, or the Don C's son is carrying his briefcase.
Yeah.
He puts it on the table. Kanye puts a blanket on the table, pulls out 2 massive like goblets, puts them on the table, and then Don C's son pulls out this unmarked bottle of clear liquid. They don't know if it's white. Rory said he didn't know if it was white wine or water. Like it was just an unmarked bottle.
Yeah.
Full of clear liquid. And he pours it, takes a sip out of it, and goes, I'm parched. We can begin now. Just imagine that. I'm just dying. And he sits them down, pulls out his laptop, and plays. At the time, it was called Donda's Boy. It wasn't.
So it wasn't Twisted Fantasy.
It wasn't Twisted Fantasy. At the time, he was planning on calling it Donda's Boy.
The whole album.
Whole album.
Okay. Yeah.
It was supposed to be 10 songs, each song 10 minutes long. Yeah.
Talk about a chore.
Runaway was originally 20 minutes long. And Kanye was singing for the last 15 minutes of it. It was just him humming and singing and stuff.
Have you ever seen? I'm not going to cut you off because
No,
I
keep
want
going.
to keep the story going.
Yeah.
Is that so he created a movie. He created a Twisted Fantasy movie, and Runaway is longer than 9 minutes in the movie.
Well, no, the movie.
It's got a whole like.
So the movie is like.
I found a bitch in my
Yeah. No, no, so that movie he released, it was like. It has every song from the album in it.
I think
It's called Runaway. It has every song.
No,
on the
it's
album.
basically it's like
it's the story behind the song.
it's a giant.
of.
Yeah.
I watched
it's
it.
such a loose story.
I've
I've
watched
seen it too.
like a million times. It's art that goes over my head.
Yeah, but it's not like art. It's not art I'm supposed to get. Like Kanye didn't make
yeah,
it for me.
no,
Kanye made it for Kanye. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not for anyone to understand. But you were saying.
So Rory says, yeah, Runaway was 20 minutes. There was no Pusha. And he sang for like the last 15 minutes.
Okay.
He played See Me Now with Beyonce, which ended up being one of the Good Friday songs, which we'll get to later.
Mm-hmm.
No Beyonce was in it. So Rory says he released it like the next day as like a Good Friday. And Beyonce was on it. So he's like, Beyonce must have recorded it like after this meeting. Like later that afternoon. Which or Ye just played it without Beyonce on it.
Yeah.
He played All of the Lights with no Rihanna.
What did the chorus sound
Yeah,
like? She is
honestly,
the
she
chorus.
Yeah,
is
that's
the
it.
so-
That's
yeah.
well, yeah. No Rihanna in it.
Okay.
I don't know what it was.
Yeah, yeah.
He heard it. And at the end, like he just let it play out, and he said he was upset that nobody cried when he played Runaway. He was like pretty like hurt by the fact that nobody cried while he played Runaway.
They're just so afraid. Like the thing with dealing with someone who's like very eccentric and obviously bipolar, mentally ill like Kanye is that you want him to be you want to keep him happy as possible. So it's like handling him with like very like gloves, like oven
Yeah.
mitts. So like you don't piss him off in any particular way. So like I imagine all of them sitting there like white knuckling in this fucking conference room, just making sure like no one breathe, don't blink, like
Don't look him right in the eye.
don't look him in the eyes, or look him, or make nothing but perfect eye contact. Make a decision. Don't waver. He might respect you. It's like dealing with like a wild animal, and you like know like general facts. It's like with a bear, like you're supposed to like get big and chase it or something like that. But like
with a brown bear, you're supposed to do that. But with a grizzly bear,
with a cougar, if you look it in the eyes, it'll rip your throat out. Like it's like I don't know how to deal with this fucking like terrifying animal. Let's just go ahead and avoid him.
yeah, I mean, he's one of a kind. Like, there's no other way to
He's
say
unique.
it. Yeah, so yeah, that's the story. And then all of a sudden, a few months later, the album is completely different. There are no 10-minute songs on it. There's a few 8-minute songs.
There's
So-
actually Runaway is 9 minutes and like 9 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm
So let's
gonna
talk
say that.
about the Good Friday thing a little bit, and then
Yes.
we'll get into the track review because like that's the meat of all of this.
That was
you know?
next on my list. So
yeah.
the Good Fridays. That was Kanye's way of like that was just him releasing a ton of free songs. They were all free releases every Friday for a few months.
Yep.
Yeah.
I believe it was 14. I think it was 14 songs.
Okay.
Few of them end up making the album. And he says in an interview like, "Hey, like why wouldn't like people will say like, "Oh no, I'm going to hold out, put them all on an album and try to sell the album." He's like, "No, like we can make so much music because the technology we have now." He was like, "Yeah, like I could talk to my guys on the phone, like they could send me an email with the audio file. I listen to it. I call them back, say change this. They send me it right back." And like he's like, back when you were making records, like you couldn't do that. You couldn't just like on the phone through email, whatever, like edit songs, like make changes, stuff like that. And he's like, that like technology is the reason we can do this. So he releases 14, I think it's 14 Good Fridays. First one, August 20th of 2010. The order just goes Power, which made the album.
Yes.
Monster
Yep.
made the album. Monster was pulled as a free song because it was so good.
Mm-hmm.
He pulled it as a free song like a few weeks later and put it on the album.
Okay.
Runaway Love with Justin Bieber and Raekwon. Not the same as
I don't
Runaway.
think I know that one.
Not the same as Runaway. They're all on YouTube. You can find them. Devil in a New Dress
Yep.
made the album. Didn't have Rick Ross when it was released as a Good Friday.
Hmm.
He released the song Good Friday.
Yeah, it was basically a shortened version, right? Like a
Yeah.
little bit condensed.
Yeah. Released the song Good Friday. Lord, Lord, Lord. Then So Appalled, which made the album.
Great song.
Dior Denim Flow, which is probably one of his best non-album songs.
I know Dior Denim Flow, but I haven't heard it in probably 5 years.
It's very good. It's one of my favorite like non-album songs. that
It
he
has a stacked featuring list. Kid Cudi, Pusha T, John Legend, Lloyd Banks, and Ryan Leslie. That's a pretty stacked.
Who's the last one?
featuring.
Ryan Leslie?
Huh? Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
Me neither.
Lloyd Banks is the dude who did Bedrock. Call me Mr. Flintstone.
He's like an R&B, like neo soul artist. I
Oh,
don't know.
yeah.
I've heard a few songs. So
Yeah. Then Don't Stop, Take One for the Team, Don't Look Down, The Joy, Looking for Trouble, Chain Heavy, and then the album released after Chain Heavy. And then for Christmas, he released the greatest Christmas song of all time, Christmas in Harlem, as like a bonus.
Christmas in Harlem is one of my favorites. It's one of my
I
favorite
love
songs.
that song.
It's so good.
Oh my god! So the album released after Chain. It was 10 days after Chain Heavy. So he released on November 22nd,
Yeah.
yes.
and that's the making of the album.
So I really like the Good Friday thing, and it Kanye has always been very much. I don't really think he's ever. Money obviously matters to him because money matters to everybody, but definitely something where like giving away free music, that people didn't do that, especially in 2010, because everyone was still Spotify
was
wasn't
iTunes, yeah.
Spotify wasn't a thing. Everyone had to buy your songs, and buying songs like individual songs and stuff like that is basically how artists made a ton of their money. And granted, they didn't see very much of it anyway. But giving stuff away for free, bush.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Sorry to do this, but this podcast is sponsored by Bush Diesel. When you
So-
open it, it goes Bush. That's what I like about it.
But no, very interesting that he was the first to come out with it, because that's music now. Music is Spotify is basically free. I don't care what anyone
Yeah.
has to say. It's $10 a month. It's free. It's
Yeah.
free. You have
$10 a
unlimited
Yeah, $10 a month for whatever you
unlimited free music.
Yeah.
That you can download and all sorts of shit like that. That is unspeakable. It's crazy. I would go ahead and I'd credit Kanye a little bit in sort of ushering things towards that thing where people can actually expect free music.
want. For sure, yeah.
And it's not just a gift. It's like, oh, like I can just listen to this for free.
It's taken for granted, for sure.
Oh, now it is. Yeah,
You
100%.
look at the record collection behind us. Dad had to
That-
buy.
So
He had to buy albums or buy
We're s-
a little, what's it called? The 78?
45.
45, yeah.
We're sitting in my basement right now, and I'm looking at a record collection that is all alphabetized now, and it is probably 300.
Yeah, that's definitely.
And there's more of
plus,
them.
Plus the box of 150 45s that are at
Okay,
the bottom.
never mind. That we won't even. I can't even. It looks like a fucking mess, but it's a beautiful mess.
It's a beautiful mess.
There's so much going
and
on.
my first vinyl that I bought a few months ago,
Was
Kids See Ghost.
I know I was there with you. The
Worth it.
Yeah, it sounded really good on vinyl actually, and I'm not even like a vinyl snob. Like I find vinyl snobs a little annoying, but so I want to talk about the album as a whole, right? Because when we were doing this and talking about this, you were like, "Let me handle all the background," and I was like, "Dope! I won't do any research on the background at all. I'm just gonna go through and I'm gonna listen to this album." And I'd listened to it so many times, but I will say there are songs that get lost in because I'm not. And I've talked about this before on this podcast, like on previous episodes or maybe on later episodes. I don't know. we don't know how we're gonna
we don't know how
we don't know how
do
we're gonna
this.
release these yet. But I sit there and I go like, I am a singles guy. I go on and I find like hits that I like off albums. I don't ever really listen to albums all the way through. So this is a test of me in my ability to comprehend big projects and thematic elements.
Yeah.
But this is something where like songs did get missed because like Power's on there. Love Power. All the Lights is on there. Love that song. Runaway is one of my favorite Kanye songs of all time. So Appalled was a song that was lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
I
I think Blame Game was also lost.
Blame
in the
Game
shuffle.
definitely lost in the shuffle.
Hell of a Life. I didn't even realize like that was.
Lost in the World
like,
is
how good
Lost
it
in the
was.
World is incredible. I love
Yes.
Lost in the World. It's like a precursor to. It's almost like a precursor to Ultralight Beam in a way. It has very similar elements of it. With like a lot of layered vocals and stuff like that, and Bon Iver being on it, but like a lot of these songs are just completely lost to me, and I mean they weren't lost on you. Like I said, that's how I know like you are a bigger Kanye fan than I am, and I'm not gonna go ahead and try and flex on you or anything because I can't do it.
Well, no, maybe it's just I not even I'm a bigger fan. It's
You
just,
respect the craft more.
Well, it's just no. I like. Well, when I first started listening to him, I'd listen to all the hits, and then I'd be like, oh, let me check out this album, and I'd listen to the album all the way through, like multiple times, like skits and everything, and I just. Yeah, I mean, like if you listen to it enough, like you'll figure out the hits and the ones that everybody knows. Like there's other ones that are just as good that just didn't end up getting the right roll of the dice and
Yeah.
like making it on the radio.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So let's just kick it right off. Right, we're gonna crack right into this.
start doing track reviews.
Let's crack right into this puppy.
All right. Well,
Dark Fantasy. What you think, dog?
I think it's maybe at least out of everything that I've heard, it's the best opener to an album ever. It's amazing. Some people don't know this. I didn't know this until like a few months ago that that's Nicki's British accent at the beginning.
Yeah.
I knew that.
Yeah, I didn't know
That's like
that.
Roman
Oh,
or
did you
whatever.
not?
That's her Roman
No.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought it was just like
I kind of find that voice a little annoying, but
I thought it was just like a sample
It
from
fit
something.
in so
yeah.
well.
yeah.
So that's like I guess that's like the intro to like Cinderella. kinda.
Yeah, it's a parodied version of Cinderella. It came out like the 70s, 80s. Some dude like wrote, I think like making fun of traditional folktales, and that's like a verse from Cinderella.
You might
Yeah.
see you peep the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real one's far too mean. Yeah.
Listen, zip it.
That's probably
Yeah.
one of the best features. I mean, I'm gonna say about the other features she has in this album, but like one of the best features I've ever heard of Nicki Minaj. Also, another fun fact: her first debut album, Pink Friday, released the same day as my Dark Twisted Fantasy, on November 22nd, 2010.
Yeah, well, she did say, like, we'll get to Monster later, but Monster was her big break. Like, that's when she
Yeah.
really jumped on the scene and, like, knew, like, I'm gonna.
Because
I'm
we'll
gonna
touch
make
on
it,
Monster,
yeah.
and Nikki has it does a lot with Monster with what's been given, especially among like heavyweights, like massive heavyweights. But I'm very interested that you didn't. I didn't know that you didn't know that was Nikki from the beginning.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I just assumed it. Like I was like, she doesn't have a British accent.
When 2010,
He
right?
doesn't have a
2010,
British.
2010 is like right as the Young Money album dropped, like the original Young Money album. I think it was self-titled, and that was like Drake's coming out. That was Lil Wayne's posse with Mills and Gutta Gutta. Everyone knows Gutta Gutta.
Yeah, Young Money was almost a year exactly beforehand.
Yeah, so like she kind of came out on that one a little bit, but like her was it Roman, not Roman Reloaded. Is that her first album?
No, her
The Pink-
first album
the
was Pink Friday.
And that came out at the exact same
The
day as Kanye's.
exact same day as
So
Dark
like
Twisted Fantasy.
super interesting that she got that Kanye respect and that Kanye buzz right from the jump.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she
huge.
was super grateful in like the interview. She was like, "I can't believe I'm working with two of the biggest stars in the world," and like
Yeah.
before even her first debut album was coming out. Like she was recording obviously at the time, but
Yep.
she only had I think 3 singles before, like "Your Love" and I don't know 2 other ones that are
Yeah, yeah.
not super bass. So yeah,
So for this particular one, right, and what I look for in an opener on an album all the time is that it introduces me to. It just gives me a little bit of a taste and an expectation for what I'm actually coming into for the entire album. So we reviewed we reviewed or we will be reviewing a Strokes album. Is this
Yes.
it? So you will hear that or you will have heard that. For that one, I actually don't like the opener for that same reason, or for the opposite reason, is that it goes ahead and it presents an idea of what the album's going to sound like. And I don't like it that much because I like the way the entire Strokes album sounds, but I actually like the song, but it just doesn't give me a taste of what's going to happen next. So
I
if I
got you.
if I first listened to that first song off that first album that they ever released, right, and I really loved it, I would be so disappointed with songs 2 through 11, like
Okay.
super disappointed. So what I love about Dark Fantasy is that it introduced you to the orchestra elements, which have had he had some gospel stuff in his first 3 albums, straight away from it in 808s, and then came back and like tripled down with it. So the heavy piano, the orchestral themes, because piano is massive in this entire discography of this entire track list. It is very, very heavy
It's
piano
present in almost all the songs.
and
yes.
it plays a very good job. So what did you think? I know you love it as an opener. Why?
Well, kind of exactly what you said. It's not like it's not like a hit. Like a lot of people would put like a hit really early. Like it's not a hit. You play it outside of listening to the whole album. Might not work.
I like
That's
it.
so
It's
weird.
not my favorite. I
Like,
like
yeah,
it.
No, I like it, but when you put it in with the rest of the album,
In context, it fits way better.
yeah,
That's so weird because I use this as like Dark Fantasy has been like a I'm about to like 1 rep max or like if I'm about to lift I play it like the rest.
Can I get much higher?
No, that's the exact thing. I'm up there like yes.
No, we can't.
Like dude, that chorus
Someone help me
comes in.
lower. Someone help me lower.
Like this is one of the best choruses I've ever heard, and like the way he like overlays his voice and like the amount of like distortion and like overlay like in his vocals is real, and the amount of chorus and gospel elements that
Yeah.
you're gonna see. It's basically what you were saying. It was like you see what he's about to do, and then in each of his songs he like really dives hard into like what he's giving you a taste of in Dark Fantasy. So love it.
So this is interesting because it's a super long opener too. It's over 4 minutes long.
Yeah.
So like, and also at the end, like when he cuts out, and there's like 45 seconds left, and you're like, that's the end, right? And they come back and do like 2 more, but they don't add anything else to it. That's still weird to me. Not bad, just weird. Because usually when they do like a cut or something like that, they come back and then they go and like they add a layer, or they strip it down, or it's an acoustic thing, or some sort of transition, and it's just like 3 seconds of dead air, and then boom.
It's
Much higher.
it's almost like Ludacris was in on this.
Why?
Yeah.
you
Wait.
never
What?
heard that? Ludacris
What do you mean?
doesn't know when to end a song.
You know? No, yeah, well, no.
You ever hear area codes?
Yeah,
It is
listing off 38
Yeah,
area codes.
listing off a bunch of area codes and like
904.
Southern hospitality, Northern exposure.
Well, he
It's
did.
like,
What was the other one? Fucking pimping all over the world.
yeah?
He just goes forever. He's like, see the with the White Sox, not pimping.
yeah, no, like hose to the left. It's like the outro is just as long as the rest of the song. But I mean, this isn't the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love the harmonies in this. Absolutely love.
Yeah.
Butter, fucking butter. You
Sorry,
good?
I had a burp.
You can burp.
I didn't want to do it in the mic. I already did.
The any other? What did you think? You really like Dark Fantasy.
Like it's not like it's so hard to pick a favorite in this, but like as an opener, it's like one of the most solid things I've ever heard. And I'm a huge fan of. After I've heard this, I was like, I gotta go listen to more Nicki featuring like raps.
Yeah, I don't even like Nicki like that so much.
I don't really either, but the way she's presented in this album and what she does is like Like I don't know. It's like such a perfect opener. It's like I agree. Like it's one of the best album openers I've ever heard. Like I can't think of anything else that's comparable.
Yeah,
You know.
I agree.
And this album was kind of Kanye's return to like real rap, like actually like getting on
808s
and,
was like singing. Yeah.
yeah, and so you get a taste of that in the opener too. Like there's some quotables there.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah. No, I think one of the more interesting things I've ever seen Kanye do was he did a stripped down set of what song? We've seen it before. We've all the time. I'm just gonna look it up and I'll come back with it. But he does a stripped down set of a song and he basically does it spoken word in front of an audience. It's like pass that for Stacey. I can't even pronounce nothing.
yeah, that's
I can't even remember. It doesn't matter. It's super pregnant pause, but more like his stripped down set of that. Like he has punchlines, and when they're said
Yeah.
like that, like you miss them in songs. Like I've never laughed
It's
at
all
a
falls
song.
down.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, it is.
It is not.
Can't even pronounce nothing. Pass that for Stacey. Then I spent $400 on this.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're right.
that's-
You're right. When he does a stripped down set like that, he has punchlines. They are genuinely funny. I've never laughed at a song like that isn't meant to make me laugh. You know, but he's a very talented lyricist, and to hear bars come out again is like. I love to hear it. Like I really want to do more of a lyrical analysis into this, and I did a pretty decent lyrical analysis. But
Yeah, I think going into it, one of my favorite lines. I don't know why. I'm a huge Marvin Gaye fan as well. Like talking about it when he goes "Mercy, Mercy Me," I'm like, that's a Marvin Gaye song. I'm like one of my favorite songs of all time. And I'm sorry, I'm like going off track a little.
no,
bit,
you're
but,
not.
like,
What are you talking?
like-
You Andrew, we have a script.
we have to.
We
keep
have a
on.
strict, and we're on a tight schedule. So
Yes.
don't you dare break off track one more time.
So-
I will cancel this podcast that you started.
Yes, correct. And
I will end this.
so I love the Marvin Gaye reference. I'm a huge gay stan. Like it's just I love Marvin Gaye.
No, it just means you
and-
support LGBTQ rights.
Yeah,
there you go.
Which we all
Yes.
do. No, you're a gay lord.
Shout out to Luke. Anyway, my younger brother. Anyway, I also love this as an opener because as we're talking about, like he was going through some rough patches in his life, and you're talking about the lyrical analysis element. And to me,
Yeah.
it's like if only, and the way he's talking about is like if I can make it big, if I can make money, get famous, all this emptiness I feel inside will be gone. Like I'll be filled like with happiness and all that stuff. And like by the end of the song, like he still feels the pain and emptiness where he's like, oh, fame, money, it didn't really help that much. And
Yeah.
like, now I've lost my mom. Like all these personal elements that have been happening to him, I really find it interesting that he's immediately showing off like what this album's going to be a meaningful emotional journey for him and for people that, you know, on the same path or like just, I don't know, want to get a glimpse into what he was feeling like during that time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, that is a really good point. Is that he is going through a ton of change right now, and it's interesting to hear the song because it is part of a cohesive piece. And you think an album like this, when you go through like so much happening at once, and the whole world is essentially against you, and this is sort of like a comeback thing. No one's
Yeah.
heard from you in a while. You've gone through a mental breakdown. You would think that it'd be a little less focused. And hearing this song, and then not even understanding, and you might hear the first song, and you just listen to the first one, you're like, damn, like. I wonder if the whole album's gonna be like that, and it is. It is. The entire album, every single song has elements that play off of that first song. I mean,
Yeah.
including "Gorgeous." I think "Gorgeous" is actually maybe one of the ones that doesn't sound like all the rest of them. "Gorgeous" is a little bit of a transition out.
really, you think? Okay.
Yeah.
Because the vocals are different.
Well, also, yeah. So the next song we're going to "Gorgeous."
That's called a big market
There you go.
transition,
That's a
baby.
transition.
That's a big market transition.
I love it.
Um,
It's also a bluesy song. It's like a bluesy-ish
The,
song.
the blues sample in it is sick.
So yeah.
yeah, and like it does have a different sound because you have that muffled like, almost like phone like style like audio through a phone.
I call it like a walkie-talkie.
Yeah, it's like a walkie-talkie. You have that like staticky like that sound. I think it's some of his best rhymes on the album, some of his best bars.
Mm-hmm.
I love the use of guitars.
Oh
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Like he does that there. He does it in Runaway when he does the like it's him humming, but he auto tunes it to sound like a guitar. Like
Yeah.
he does that. It's I love the use of guitars there. Cuddy with the hook is great.
Yes.
Like
yes.
that's one of my favorite Cudi features.
And it's over the electric guitar, and
Yeah,
like just
it
sounds
just-
so
it-
smooth. It's crisp.
It meshes well.
I don't want to be a hater because I'm not a hater.
Oh no.
Is this is one of my lesser favorite? Yeah, stare directly at the camera. The this is one of my less favorite Cudi features. It's a little uninspired.
Really? Okay.
Like, and I love Cudi's voice, and granted, he's very monotone and he sings very low, and a lot of stuff sounds the same. It just sort of like smooths over. I just think I don't. It doesn't stand out to me. It's not one that gets stuck in my head. I'm not sitting here going like, if I want it, I need it. Like that's not like I'm never finding myself like humming that to myself like jaunting down the street as I traipse
literally
along
do
the
that.
sidewalk.
I literally am doing that.
As I
Yeah,
gallivant
same.
home. I don't. It's not. It does. It's not hooky for me. But go ahead, explain your thing.
Well, it's not hooky for you. Well, maybe my least favorite part of the song, possibly the album, is when you get that surprised Raekwon at the end.
Yes.
It's not great. If we're being
Really?
honest.
No,
I
when
really
when you
like
said
it.
yes, I was like, I don't think you
Well,
actually
'cause
heard.
this is-
what he said.
Well, I was like, I
So
thought it was-
nobody, like, except for the people that were in the studio, like nobody in the public knew it was coming.
no, of course, like
And Raekwon out of nowhere.
Rayquan out of nowhere. I
oh my
thought,
god,
dude,
is that Raekwon's music?
I thought he like killed that part. I thought it was like one of my favorite parts. I mean, this is like top 2, top 3 songs on the album for me. Like, and I was telling you whenever I did the boxing fight, and I was like, oh, we might have a walk-up song. That first like 30 seconds into the opening lyric, what is it? Ain't no question if I want it, I need it. It just feels like I'm about ready to, like do something like go ham. You know what I mean? Like
I'm about to end this man's life.
I'm about to end this whole man's career.
I'm about to give him serious permanent brain damage.
And the way, like, I was telling this also, like, seamlessly blends, like, this is the first one where, I mean, a little bit in Dark Fantasy, where it's, like, the distorted vocals seamlessly mixing into it. Like, it was so, like, it's such a clean song for me, and I love the hook by Cudi. I love the rap verse by Raekwon. Like, just, on my mind, like, top 3 of this album.
It all sounds muddy, but not in a bad way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Also, to clarify what I was saying, if I'm talking about my least favorite part of the album, it's not bad.
No,
I know, yeah.
It's not like I'm
You
like,
don't have
oh man, I wish Raekwon wasn't on
No,
this
but
song.
no,
like,
but
you know?
it's you have to put it in the context of the album because that's what we're looking at.
Exactly,
It's
yeah,
just like-
exactly,
like,
yes.
if this is your least favorite song in the album, it doesn't have to be a bad song. It's just not my
Yeah.
favorite. But yeah, no, I thought it sounded. I didn't love his feature, but I thought it was pretty good, and I love a good Cudi and Kanye collab. Kids See Ghost was incredible.
Oh yeah.
Well, he also, this is the song he makes a reference to the fish stick, too.
Yeah,
Yes,
Yeah.
I have that in my quotes. I'm gonna read the
Choke
quotes.
a South Park writer with a fish stick.
Which, if you don't know that story, go look up the Kanye like fish stick South Park clip because
You know that I'm a gay fish.
yeah. So quick story about that. The South Park writers, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, they were talking about like I guess they go on a retreat all like every year, and they just come up with like stupid shit that they can base an episode around. And one guy was just like, oh, fish stick, fish dick, oh, and then they made that, and like it was a stupid joke, and then the writers were like, that's the one,
gold.
like yeah, and they
Promotion.
and they came up
Intern, what's your name?
no, they came up with a whole episode about it, and they're like, man, what celebrity like wouldn't get the joke and would try to come up with like a different meaning for it, and like just wouldn't really get it, and they're like Kanye would kind of like would react weirdly to it, so then they came up with a whole thing where he's trying to figure out what does that mean, like what is fish dick? Yeah, he's like, here's what fish sticks and fish dicks have in common, and he like has a whole chart, and then then he raps about being a gay fish,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was between his last album and this one, and then that's just a great line.
Andrew, you said you would walk up to Gorgeous, like if on your fight night, and there is one song on this album that it's not my favorite song, but in terms of just getting me hyped, it's Power, and it's the next one on the list.
Yeah.
But like, Power is straight.
Another great transition.
I'm killing them, and the more you call them out,
You called out the first one.
no, you called it the first one, and I
Just,
said I know
just keep
great
calling them
transition.
out. I'm just
Stop.
gonna wait for this.
No, they're really good. I'm just thinking. I'm just trying to. My gears are constantly turning. Power is an incredible song, and talk about like his hype up song. Like I think if Kanye had an anthem, like any song that maybe like I want to go ahead and write out like Gold Digger because that's not my favorite Kanye song. It's famous because it's been famous for a long time. The sample's really good and stuff like that. The instrumental's really good. I think Power is one song where I go and I'm like, commercially recognizable. It might be his most.
Yeah, I could see
that
that. Yeah,
and that and All the Lights, Stronger.
I mean, you hear
Stronger.
Power.
Can't tell me nothing. Like
Yeah,
Stronger.
Stronger might be,
No,
yeah.
Stronger. I remember in like 2007, 2008. Stronger was on the radio like
Constantly.
once an hour.
Yeah, and I think I love
I used to
So
be
as we're
scared by
talking-
the sample in that.
dude. Power is on every warm up basketball team, like my team in high school, or like any sports.
Yeah, we
it's
did it
like
for hockey.
Power is always on that
Yeah.
list, you know, and it's a great song.
And that is the sample from that is it's called Afro America by, or maybe it's called something by Afro America. I don't know, but it's like a tribal like chant with
No,
with the
it's-
drums,
It's
Wait,
sick. It
which-
sounds like a war chant.
and it's amazing. Yeah, the sample for Power.
Oh yeah,
like
okay, yeah.
like those drums and the oh like that part,
Yeah.
and the sample is just amazing.
Fabulous.
The way he stops, because I didn't know, so I looked at the lyrics, because like some points I'm like, what is it saying? Because I always thought it was like 21st century, and I could never hear it.
Schizoid man.
Schizoid Man,
Yeah,
and I was like,
that's another sample.
no, that's not the sample. That was like a song from like a prog rock band in like the 70s.
That's the sample. Like, that's a
he,
touch.
He sampled it from that.
Oh,
song.
okay. So
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
misinterpreting that. I'm like, what's he referencing? Okay, but the way the musical stop break works, like 21st century Schizoid Man, and then immediately, like I don't know why that jump into like a more hype, like I don't know, the way it blended in just sounded so clean.
Yep.
And I was big, and I'm a big fan of Also Power because it's considered braggadocio, like which is like rapping about one's own accomplishments in like a very like high energy like terms, and I think that's the reason why it's so hype, because he's just like rattling off things that he's like great at and like feeling good about. You know what I mean?
No, it's great to hear.
yeah,
it
it's
kinda-
really good. It's
and
a
it
positive
really-
vibe.
It shows the like level of superstardom he's at. He's just completely disillusioned by his fame. Like he's just like, yeah, like nobody in the world should have what I have.
This
Right.
much
Like,
power.
like come on.
You were telling the luggage store. This man's like making some man
Yeah.
strut around his house with a Z's.
He has, he has parents. He might have a degree.
yeah.
He has a crush.
Another thing about Power. I researched this after like last week. But for years, every time when he says, "I got the power, make your life so exciting," as it fades out, I've always like it kind of sounds like he's saying suicide, like so excited, and I was like, maybe that's a thing, maybe it's just me trying to get a deeper meaning. Apparently, that's like a thing. Like people are like, yeah, I like the way he blends it into like that meaning.
I
It's
remember
on
that
purpose.
was.
Wait, it's on purpose.
Yeah.
Like dual meaning.
Like
Well, no,
s-
maybe
like
not,
he's
but-
never talked on it, but
I've heard that he did come under some fire when that did come out, because like in the radio version they obviously cut it out. They
Yeah.
don't need to repeat suicide. That's like a Judas Priest thing where you play it backwards and people start killing themselves.
yeah, he
like Lil
mentioned.
Nicky when they play Chicago
Yeah.
backwards.
Well, he literally mentions now this will be a beautiful death, jumping out the window, letting everything. He literally references.
Yes, no,
Yeah.
that's that. There's
Yeah,
context.
exactly.
It's
And
not
yeah,
just him
yeah.
being like
Yeah, so it
Manslaughter,
transitions-
manslaughter,
well, no,
manslaughter.
no, so this
Yeah.
really, I think, ties into a lot of his recent work, especially Ye, because it comes in. It's like, oh, I can make your life so exciting. It's like, oh, like yeah, I got all this. Look at all this, but it's not all it's made out to be. There's like more under the surface.
I thought
like,
about killing you,
Yeah,
and I think about killing myself,
yeah, no, but
and,
even
and I care about myself way more than I care
yeah,
about
well,
you.
Well, yeah, even when he's like just that whole Ye the whole time is talking about like
yeah,
his emotional issues, and this was almost his way of like expressing it without being as open and as like straightforward as Ye, because back then it was only like 10 years ago, but that wasn't like people just wanted like, yeah, I'm in the club, I'm going out tonight, blah, blah, blah. Like
no, I mean, and I would
like
go ahead
that,
and
that's him like kind of sneaking in his message.
because people wanted to hear it forever. I mean, you talk about just the success of Cudi, and Cudi's ability to talk about his mental health issues and be well received is like he was the first one. He's groundbreaking. He steps out on a limb, and I mean, Kanye did the same thing. I'm not even sure when Cudi's Moon album came out.
09.
Okay, so
Oh,
maybe
nine.
maybe Cuddy. I think obviously I think that's why they have so much in common is that they're both able to relate on this thing and be emotionally vulnerable enough to talk about it. Call Kanye whatever you want. You can call him disillusioned. You can call him egotistical, but he is more. He's definitely self-aware and he knows what he's talking about and he's trying to send a message and I firmly believe that. But when Cuddy goes and he was doing like talking about breaking down these barriers and talking about his mental health issues. People wanted to hear it, and that's why you hear stuff like that now. You hear Mac Miller's album that just came, or like the last couple of Mac Miller albums that came out, and he was super emotional. Like a lot of these albums are very emotional now. That's not something rappers used to do. You're
Yeah.
right. It used to be I'm up in the club, I'm popping bottles, look at all these girls. Like that was every song. That was like a whole bunch of Kanye's early songs.
Yeah.
Like they're not to the same extent. They're not Flow Rida songs.
No,
but like
they're
they're
still
like
like
they're like
They're
look
shallow.
at me. Yeah.
yeah, they're
It's
not
a classic
in-depth.
pop themes. It's like
Yeah. Well, I mean, don't break away from what made you famous. You know,
Well,
Lil
this is-
Wayne. Like, if Lil Wayne's not rapping about mental health,
Well, that's what I kind of like. That's what I was talking about earlier when
Push is still rapping about moving bricks.
Yes.
Pusha hasn't moved. I love you, dude. And also don't hurt me. I'm a big fan. I saw you live. You were fucking incredible. But yeah, Pusha hasn't pushed a brick in many moons.
Well, yeah.
But
But I mean, that was his life. That was his brother's life.
Yeah.
That was all of his buddies' life.
Yeah, he's got
Yeah,
mules
I-
moving weight.
that's what I like, honestly, when you were talking like the shallow element of like, because he had the braggadocious nature, but like he actually talks about serious stuff in like talking about all the shallow accomplishments he's made. The other thing I thought was really weird about how I felt. I love this song, but something about the backing vocals, like the chorus in the background, gives me like a I've never been claustrophobic, and it gives me like a claustrophobic reaction. I feel trapped.
Do you feel like they're getting closer? I always feel like they're getting closer.
Yeah,
I
something.
feel
where,
like I'm being
scared.
I feel like I'm being backed into a corner, and people are just screaming at me, going, hey.
No, yeah, it
Well, no,
feels
it's
so
definitely
weird.
it's like it's definitely like a little so
They add new things. They add an air raid siren. The air raid siren. There's an air raid siren in there,
Yeah.
and when they add that one, that gives me like a little goosebump. I'm getting goosebumps talking about it right now because I hear that, and that's what makes me think. And I'm sitting there being like, make it stop,
well yeah that's
make
the-
it stop.
Make it stop. Yeah. It's also the best ending. I feel like it probably close to the best ending, if not best ending
well,
on the
it's,
album.
It's the guitar. It's like
Yeah, that guitar and just the way I'm gonna talk about this later, but the way he uses repetition throughout this album, like in lyrics, in like the instruments and everything, is so clean. And the way he, like repeats the "now this will be a beautiful death," that whole verse 3 times, and you got the power to let power go, and like the way he uses the repetition at the end was just so like clean feeling, and I felt like it was a great transition into the next song, "All the Lights." Like I just thought it was a good, yeah.
Well, All the Lights starts with an interlude.
great transition in.
Oh, thanks, Brendan. See, I'm gonna
All
appreciate it.
the Lights starts with an interlude, which you said you didn't like that much.
So I didn't like the interlude. Typically, I wasn't about a minute. I wasn't for like a minute of basically the instrumental version of All the I just wanted to go straight into All the Lights, so I always tended to just hit skip on it. I listened to it a couple times. I was like,
Yeah.
I
well, it's not
you
a
know.
song on its own. Like
No,
it
exactly.
is just the instrumental, but I think it's a little beautiful.
I think it's a beautiful sound, great instrumental. I just feel like I get enough of it in there.
Here's how I saw it. Right?
Okay.
I call it a water break because it's called a water break for me because when power comes on and I'm in my room, I am like jumping around in circles,
Yeah.
exhausted. I have 49 seconds to go ahead and get my shit together before all the lights come on and I do the same thing. So
Yeah.
this song is a water break for me.
This is another one of those. It's on the same level and same category as Power. It's like you see it in every like hype video. You see it in everything. The booming, just the atmosphere, like the presence that song has is unreal.
Yeah.
I highly recommend and almost a little bit look down on the people that don't play the intro first. The interlude. The interlude. Elton John on the piano.
I didn't know that until you told me.
Unreal.
I
Yeah,
didn't
told
know
you
either.
earlier
That's
today.
crazy.
Elton John on the piano. Unreal. He actually plays it at some of his concerts. He'll do like the all lights
I
interlude.
thought you were about to say Elton John will play that.
Elton
at his
John will
concert?
play it,
Oh,
like,
okay.
yeah,
I thought you were saying,
sometimes
yeah,
His
okay.
concerts.
I got you. I don't know. I just didn't get the same feeling. I'm like, it's already in the song, and he's playing it.
It is, but it's like it's the slow build because if you just played all the lights, I mean,
If
obviously
you
it
went
comes on
power
just
into
like,
all the lights,
yeah,
it would
just
just be it'd be
But why is
noise.
it-
It'd be
it's
noise
like-
pollution.
yeah.
But why does it need to be a
It's
separate
like-
song?
well, no,
Could you
it's-
just
it's
spend
like-
the first minute?
No, because I don't want to listen to it like
could-
that.
yeah, that's the thing. It could have been, but
I want to have the choice.
there are a lot
Okay,
of
fair
Kanye's
enough.
giving me
But
options.
yeah, no, well, there are songs that have intros that you're like, yeah, they're fine, but I want to scrub forward to the minute mark where I actually get to it.
It's,
Do you
Yeah,
think there's
I
a
I
it's
gotta-
like every Dave East song. I don't want to listen to the rap skit in the beginning. I'll skip to 2 minutes
Yeah,
in when
well,
it
no,
actually
it's
gets to it.
Do you think there's a reason why he chose all of the lights instead of
Thank you. My
Hello,
beer delivery
more
lady
bush
showed up.
lights? Yes.
Bush heavies, diesels. Thank you. You just dropped the
Diesel
yellow
fuel.
on.
Just put it
Thanks,
down.
Tori.
Thanks, Troy.
Thanks, Dory.
Thank you. I like my shoes too.
Bush.
Sponsored by Nike.
We're not sponsored by anyone, but Nike. I'll take your money.
We're sponsored by Bush
Yeah.
Heavy.
But
Bush. We're doing
my
Twisted Fantasy. We're not gonna mute you out. You're fine. You're like not even on mic.
We're doing
yeah.
Twisted Fantasy.
We're
by
doing
Kanye.
Twisted Fantasy by Kanye.
Dude. Yeah.
Tori,
You didn't even have.
come here. What do you mean? What do you mean? Talk into it a little bit.
Yeah, come on.
No, just go ahead and say what you don't like about Brennan's power rankings.
Oh, I love this.
Talking to the mic, I can hear you.
Sibling rivalry.
Put it.
Never mind. You're shy. Go. Leave. Bye, Tori. Sorry, you're making this so weird. We might actually have to edit this out.
No,
I
this
feel
is
like your
staying in.
power rankings were a waste of time.
Debatable.
He has a lot of time on his hands.
Got a lot of
It's not a
time on
waste
my
of
hands.
anything. But yeah. So thanks, Troy.
If I
Thanks for
wasn't
bringing the
doing-
Bush
if-
heavies.
If I wasn't doing that, I would have been packing on a few more Bush
Hey,
pounds.
Troy. There's a camera right there, and you're sitting directly in front of me.
She flinches.
All right, leave. It is rolling.
Yeah, it is. Oh, don't tell me my phone died. Oh no, it's still rolling. It's fine.
Don't touch
Okay,
it.
we're cool.
Don't
Go,
touch
go,
it.
go,
Don't
go,
touch
go.
it.
We gotta finish up quick.
It's
gonna,
yeah.
it's gonna die.
It's gonna die.
Do you want me to click the battery thing? Is the battery portal?
It's,
Put on
yeah,
low
no,
power
that's
mode.
dead. No, like
Put on low power mode.
I don't have any in the power
All right,
bank.
but here, ready? We'll finish this up a little bit. Not finish it up. No, we got a lot of stuff. If the video goes out, the video goes out. We can always put up my phone and record via my phone.
Yeah,
and
that'd
just
be
stitch
fine.
them together.
That'd be fine with me.
Sorry, this is like really like live. We're really just trying to. We recorded one earlier. Our shit's not really working. My headphones keep like going in and out. It's super annoying. Tori comes down, doesn't even bring me a beer. Tori,
Well, I texted her. to
I know, I
grab
saw you
me
do
a
it.
beer.
that's how you do it. Tori, I don't even want one.
You're
Okay.
probably like, wow, you're not even listening to
I
what
don't-
I'm saying. I'm like,
Well,
no,
I
I'm
don't-
listening.
I don't want to rush through this because I have.
No, we're not rushing through.
Yeah,
No,
if
that
we
meant
don't
that
have
meant
video-
more like Tori, please leave. We got shit to do.
So
Um,
my question to you and you is, why do you think obviously power hype song? Do you think he put the interlude in between those because he knew like that's gonna be like two people's very big pump up songs? So I need to like you said, water break or
Honestly,
whatever.
yeah, maybe.
Because there's no other interlude. Typically, you like layer interludes throughout an album, like how Gorillaz or other bands do. But like I don't
Life of Pablo had like 4 interludes.
see that. That's what I'm saying. He has
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that was 6 years, 8 years after this came out. Was it 2016, 2018?
2016.
Yeah. So why do you think he only did it there? Is it just because it was 2 hype songs and the rest were like kind of peaceful at the start? You know what I mean?
I do think so.
Okay. I was just curious.
I also think it kind of goes to a quote from Sci-Hi. You know Sci-Hi?
Yeah. The
Yeah.
Chicago Kid.
Yeah.
Chicago Prince.
Sci-Hi the Prince.
Oh, it's BJ the Chicago Kid. There we go.
BJ,
I'm,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
good. I got it.
No, it's BJ the rapper, right? Chance
Something like
the
that.
Kid? No,
Chance the
whatever.
Kid. Something like that.
Um,
Good.
He said in an interview, he's like, he got so excited about it because he was in the studio, like out in Hawaii doing all this stuff, and he was talking about it. He was getting like all giddy about it. He's like, yeah, and you got the drums and you got this and you got that. He's like, and then you got all these artists because 14 artists sing like the all of the lights.
yeah.
yeah,
And we were talking. LaRue is one of them.
yeah. Among those
Of Bulletproof
among
fame.
among the
Yes,
artists,
of one song.
you obviously have Rihanna.
You can hear
Rihanna,
Rihanna.
you
over
got
every-
LaRue, Alicia Keys, Drake, Fergie, Cuddy, John Legend,
Nicki,
and
right?
and more. No.
Nicki's also in there, right?
I
I couldn't
maybe.
tell. I couldn't
look
remember.
look it up. Maybe
Yeah, I'm gonna check
I know
this.
I know there's 14 total people,
Yeah.
and like that's just
She's not.
and Sci-Hi goes, it's like We Are the World.
No,
He's like-
honestly, that's what it
he
sounds
goes-
like.
Yeah.
He goes, you got those 14 people. You got Elton John doing the intro. You have Kanye. You have he's like it's the modern day We Are
That's
the
like
World.
better than We Are the World 25, the one that came out. It had
Oh.
We Are the World 25 like has Lionel
Dude,
Richie and
that-
Cindy Lauper on it.
That was
Yeah,
Haiti, right?
no need.
It was the
Yeah,
Haiti
it was
one.
the Haiti
It was the
one,
Haiti one.
2008.
It was 2010.
2010.
Justin
Oh,
Bieber's
yeah,
like
that's right.
12. in it.
Justin Bieber does like like the main intro. He does like the Michael part, but they
Yeah.
didn't even get. That was so funny because they were like, "How do you replace Michael Jackson?" And you can't. So
Justin
they
Bieber.
used Michael Jackson. They like used
Yeah.
Michael Jackson's vocals over it. So it's like clearly there's no Michael Jackson anymore. I just always found that really interesting. That was such
MJ's
a
gone.
swing. He's
Nope.
He's dead.
Yeah.
Our friend is dead.
It's in the song.
Something else
Our
about
pal,
this.
he's dead.
I was gonna say, like, this is probably one of my, like, I'm gonna keep saying this out there for like multiple people, but one of my favorite Rihanna features.
Dude, Rihanna kills his.
Literally kills it so good. I get so hyped when she comes on, and it's like it's a more like soothing part of the song. But I was just like, I can't stop going this. And one of my favorite things that happens to the song, and I was talking to you about this earlier, was the bongo like instrument that when
Yeah.
they
Bongos
'cause
right
it's
after
so
the chorus,
subtle.
right when it's like,
Yeah.
like turn up the lights in here, baby, and it's like it's
One of my favorite backs of that. Like,
such a good choice right there.
No, percussion's
Like,
percussion's spot on in this one. And I mean, the French horns in the bridge right before the final chorus when it cuts out and it's just horns. Those ones like punch me in the chest in the best way possible.
And the strings too.
Yeah.
Yes,
He does a great job using the strings.
he does.
I mean, he wasn't playing them.
He knows
but,
his
like,
way
you know,
around a
yeah.
violin.
I think
But-
also one of my favorite lyrics is in this song too. I don't know why, but like the unemployment line,
Credit card declined.
credit card, the way that transitions, and typically when it goes afterwards, it goes after that verse, we going all the way this time. I typically hate that repetition in songs when they kind of do it, but for some reason it just felt so right
Yeah.
after like that really like. I don't know what it is about this because there's so many things in this song I feel like I wouldn't like, and then it just happens. I'm like, yeah, I'm
then-
feeling this right
And
now.
then you get the synth where it's like, duh, duh,
Yeah.
duh, duh, and then it goes into the
Dun, dun,
horns. And
clean.
Dun, dun.
like the production value on this album as a whole, but specifically
All the lights
all
is,
the lights,
is an absolute.
It's
Is one of the. I'm
the
listen.
greatest produced songs of all
I was
time.
gonna say, listen. You said
Yes.
it. You said it. It's not a controversial opinion because we all agree. It's one of the best produced songs I've ever heard. Like a perfect pop rap song. Perfect pop
I
rap song.
100% agree.
Yeah.
A song that you love.
I love, and I'm surprised to hear that it doesn't do it for you.
Whereas we had a lot of other
It
artists.
doesn't get your little
featuring a
Anthony
lot.
going. It gets my little Brenda going.
It doesn't. No, my
Oh,
little
God.
Anthony stays where he is because Monster is. I like. Monster's fine. I don't really like the chorus so much, and I don't really like Rick Ross as a rapper, but that's me.
His intro, you get the roar. Then it's,
Oh,
bitch, I'm a monster. Like,
I
yeah, we in trouble. Fat motherfucker.
Yeah, so our camera cut out, and it was good because you had to take a piss. So
yes, that was a perfect transition.
perfectly timed.
perfect
But we were
transition.
talking about Monster, and you were saying, I think you were talking about Rick Ross's thing.
I was picking up from the beginning. So, Monster, I love this song. I'm surprised you don't.
All right.
The intro. the booming Rick Ross intro.
Yep.
He's like, fat motherfucker. And he's
Yeah.
just going off. That, I was going to say, every Rick Ross feature on this album, I think I like better than almost any solo Rick Ross stuff.
Oh, great. What a high
Wow.
bar.
But
what a,
no, but
I think I like when he worked with Kanye better than he worked when he worked with himself. No shit.
well, no, like I would listen to this and I'd be like, oh man, I think I like Rick Ross.
And then you listen to his music and you're like, I certainly
I
don't.
listen to his,
Absolutely
well,
not.
no, I'd
Couldn't be
listen,
me.
I'd listen to his music and go, I don't know if I like it as much, like, you know. So, Andrew, you gave me a look when I said the Rick Ross. Listen.
I did. Okay, so it wasn't specifically the Rick Ross thing, although that's a separate thing. I think I really dislike this opening. I don't like it, except for when they switch from the distorted vocals to like the pure sounding. You know what I mean? Like when he was. It happens like 30 seconds on the end of the song whenever he switches into it, but
I turn the lights out.
and then it switches into like a regular sound.
Yeah.
I think this is probably the weakest opening verse on this album. I hate like the Rick Ross thing is fine, but like I love like I shoot the lights out. I love that he's like, you know, continuing from all of the lights. Like he's actually referencing, you know, making it into a more concept album. I just think it's a weak starter. I also hate Jay-Z's verse and his inflection on when he says love. The the line is Kai something, I don't know. Like, but the way he goes la, and he just like does this weird inflection and just
Well,
disturbs
Love,
me.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
well,
what
no,
is this?
It's like when he says like vampires and bloodsuckers. Like
Yeah.
when he does that.
Oh, he does. He does Kai beep, but these hoes love
These
my
hoes
accent. I'm like,
love.
what is this?
Yeah.
Like, is this a Drake song?
I-
Like, what's
I
going
like-
on?
I did kind of like Jay-Z's. I like Jay-Z's.
Oh, you actually
I liked it more than Rick Ross. I don't like Rick Ross.
Really? Okay.
I do not like Rick Ross.
So I enjoyed Rick Ross more than I wasn't a fan of Jay-Z's verse in this song. I also continuing. I enjoyed the cutoff of instruments during it though. Whenever like they went pure, so like the instruments stopped and it was just his voice.
They were acapella.
So I like that
Yep. Yep.
version of it. I think speaking of the features in the song, Nicki Minaj, one of my favorite features, just period. Of
Creme de la
song.
creme.
So here's a story about that.
Yes.
Nikki was given an interview. It was probably during the Pink Friday thing where she was talking about her feature on Monster, and it released before the album. And it was one of those Good Friday songs. And Kanye, before it released, he was like, man, Nikki, like, I don't know if I should be releasing this. People are going to say that's the best verse on my album. He's like, I should just leave her off the album. He's like I'm going to get so much heat because you have the best one on my album. And also, in the same interview, she said, that wasn't one take, that wasn't two, that wasn't three, that was like 15 takes because Kanye loved how her like raw like the grunting
The
like
grr,
yeah,
like
yeah,
grr, like
yeah.
the monster noise. He loved that,
Yep.
and she didn't. So she'd like start slipping into it during takes, and then she'd like kind of like get out of it, or she'd do a take without it. So he'd chop up a bunch of the takes she did and put it in, like splice them all together and make it like how we wanted it, and it
Yeah.
fits in so perfectly. She sounds like a monster.
Do
She
you have the-
sounds like
Do you have the hiccups?
No, the
You can have the
burps.
hiccups. Just expand your diaphragm.
No, I have the Bush burps. The Bush burps. But Bush, please sponsor me.
Dude, I know I need money, dude.
I don't
I'll
even need-
I'll drink shit beer for the rest of my life. I drink PBRs
You shut
willingly.
your
Whoa,
fucking
whoa,
mouth.
whoa! Don't. PBR is
I
delicious.
love PBR now.
Thank you.
Bush Heavy is
I
the
didn't like PBR before.
Bush Heavy is the
Big fan.
greatest cheap beer of all time. I don't even need money from you. I just need free beer. That's it.
We're not.
All
It's
right.
already free.
Yes,
They
honestly.
give the,
Like
I have some of those in my
20
apartment.
$20 is not free.
I have some of those in my apartment, and instead of drinking them, I use them as like paperweights and to like kill cockroaches and stuff like that.
Disgusting. You are.
I use them as doorstops, unclogged toilets.
You know, I hope you're like dying of thirst in your apartment, and the only thing left in your fridge is a Bush Heavy.
I wouldn't drink it.
Yeah.
I'd die
Yeah.
on
yeah,
the floor.
Yeah. No, you wouldn't. You'd crumble.
I was drinking with Bush Heavies.
I really.
And it'd be the best thing you ever drank.
Back to Nicki Minaj. Killer feature.
Killer feature. I
Honestly,
think.
great story. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, I
whenever
hadn't
were
heard that until
telling
you
me,
told
like,
us when we were
Yeah.
golfing.
Well, no,
Yeah.
she does the she's like
She did like,
like
the
like
grunting.
20,000 sold, no album out. And she like does the grunts and like the screams, and at the end when she's like, I'm a motherfucking monster, like
Yeah.
she goes off. Like that's one of that's one of my favorite Nicki things she's ever done.
It is my favorite Nicki thing.
Yeah.
She blew
Yeah,
them all
it
out.
probably
Everyone
is.
out of the water.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
that
super
song
bass
is-
brings
yeah.
me back to middle school, and I kind of like that a little bit.
I
You
just
think it's simpler
No, and I
times?
like what's that other song? It's on the album cover that it's like a fingerprint in lipstick. What's the
Truffle butter.
that
I like that song. I like that
that
song.
song is on there.
Truffle butter on your pussy.
All right, listen, that's a
She
great
gonna
song.
say,
song.
hell no, I'm
Morning.
eating it in the bathroom.
God.
Put your leg on the toilet.
Oh, the pink print.
the fingerprint and no what's
That-
the
that's
what's
what's
the
called
no,
the
no,
album.
I know what's the song? It's like
Dude, I was like 14. I didn't know what to
Dude,
know. I
Pills
didn't.
and Potions, Anaconda, only is probably what you're thinking of.
I didn't need to know what truffle butter was when I was 15 years old.
I didn't need to be.
And then I
aware
did
of
too much
that.
research, and I was like, oh boy,
Any of those?
that's dirty.
That is fair.
It's
Filthy.
very filthy.
Well,
maybe
I
not,
can't.
maybe not off that album. Anyways,
Fair enough.
there's a couple of Nicki songs I like, but I love this feature. I think every
Yeah.
feature on here is golden.
Yeah.
Even you get to the back end with Sci-Hi's verse. Oh, do you want to hear a story about Sci-Hi's verse?
Sure,
Yes.
go for
Oh
it.
wait, no. That's so appalled. Never mind.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was,
well,
the,
I mean-
that was the next.
No,
no,
song.
no,
but no,
no,
but I mean, I think
no,
we're on to it. Do you have anything else to say about
no,
Monster?
Well, no, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
This was kind of the beginning of Kanye and Bon Iver's
What is it?
Bon Iver. I refuse to say Bon Iver.
jeez.
Bon Iver.
That is the biggest
Oh, it's
douche.
Bon Iver.
Oh no, it's Bon Iver.
It's Bon Iver.
No, you don't understand. It's Bon Iver. I studied a semester abroad in Paris. Yeah, they totally would hate.
Have you ever been to
saying
Have you ever been to Versailles? You haven't been to
that. Oh
Versailles.
my god, Les Mis is. Just
Oh my
great.
god.
Have you ever seen Les Mis
Eating-
in France?
Eating crepes in front of the in front of the Eiffel Tower.
Also,
Yeah.
he's from Wisconsin, so like, there's nothing.
It's like, yo, Liberace is from Wisconsin. Liberace.
Really?
Yeah. He was born like Jeff Kugelstein from the middle of Wisconsin. The funniest thing in the world is like mixtape. Rest in peace, mixtape.
But
They did a
anyways,
whole episode about.
Last thing I want to say is
Sorry.
Monster. I love how it fits into the theme of it too, of this album, because it's like
It's chaotic.
I'm a monster.
Chaotic.
Like he's
Yeah.
like fame turned me into a monster.
Yeah.
Like yeah, I'm a monster. Like fuck you. And
Yeah.
all these people, from Ye to Jay to Nicki, and then
Love that.
even
To Nick to Rick.
well yeah, from Rick to Ye to Jay to Nick to Bon Iver
Weird rhyme scheme.
to Bon Iver.
To Bon Iver.
Bon Iver.
You were talking about Sci-Hi's feature previously on So Appalled. Am I cutting you off? Sorry.
No,
Did
no,
I
no,
transition
no.
too hard? What do you
No,
have to say about
no.
Monster?
Good transition is what I was gonna say. No,
Just
no.
let my transitions be good,
no,
dude.
I thought you were linking in Sci-Hi's thing with Monster, but it is on Soul Pop.
Yeah.
So the story of Sci-Hi's verse. Jay-Z and Beyonce were in the studio with Kanye, and he was playing them the final cut of So Appalled. And Sci-Hi was helping with a lot of the production, a few features he was doing on the album. And he asked Kanye, because that So Appalled beat just ran for like 3 minutes after Jay finished.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I think it was after Jay-Z finished or whoever the last one before him was. And he was like, yo, like, yeah, just like let me spit a verse, like, just for fun. And he ended up doing it. And Kanye was playing the like the recording for Jay-Z and Beyonce, like, yo, like, what do you think of this finished product? And he forgot to press stop. And Sci-Hi's verse comes up. And they stop and they start listening to it. And it ends, and Jay-Z goes like, that's fire, like, you need to keep it. And Beyonce goes, who is that? You need to sign him. And then the next day, Sci-Hi signed to Good Music with Kanye.
That's so fun.
That's
Jay,
sick.
like imagine
That is sick.
being like an up and coming rapper, and Kanye's like, yeah, bro, like I forgot to hit stop. One of the biggest rappers of all time heard your verse, and he told me to sign you. That's how good he thought it was.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
And his wife, who's the queen of pop.
Oh wow.
She is.
Yeah. She
Beyonce is.
I was.
Listen, Beehive, take it easy on us, all right? We love Beyonce, and we'll never say anything bad about Beyonce.
Never. Queen.
I don't have stuff in my past, but
Rihanna's better.
They're both queens.
Both
I'm gonna
queens.
leave it at that.
I'm not. I don't pit women. I don't pit strong women against each other.
I also was gonna add on to the Sci-Hi thing.
They can both be queens.
He actually, I was reading up on it. Was he tricked West in quotes? He was only originally supposed to deliver a quick hook and
Yeah,
be
that's
out
what it
of
was.
it. Yeah, and then apparently Kanye West was tired, so Sci-Hi was in there alone without Kanye record it, and then like that's when they heard it.
Yeah, so
Kanye
so,
was like, "What? What is this?" Like,
no,
surprised.
So he was working on the thing, and I mean, if Kanye hated it, he could have went like screw that, like, it's just the end. I'm just gonna cut it,
Yeah.
whatever. But the beat ran for long, and Sci was like, screw it, I'll fuck around with it. Maybe later down the road he'd be like, he'd save the clip and be like, yo,
Yeah.
well, this is what I did when I was So great story out of that song.
Great,
So
great
Appalled
song.
doesn't get enough love. This
You're right.
Honestly, you catch me on a different day ranking Kanye songs, this could be number one. This ended up.
Alright,
This was
let's.
for me. It's
Yeah,
for
yeah,
me.
it's subjective.
Love this song. Oh my god, it's just a hard, like, dark, like, gritty beat, and
Yeah.
oh my god, and like it's almost like scary, like when the beat where it's like it's like that sounds like violins in the background where it's like
Yeah.
like, it kills, and it gives you like you're either like, I like it. It gives me chills, and it's like a scary beat.
I really like this song, and this is one song that completely it fell between the cracks for me, mostly because it's sandwiched between like Monster, which is obviously a huge song, So Appalled, and then Devil in a New Dress and Runaway are right after it. And Runaway is my favorite Kanye song ever. So when they go ahead and like Devil in a New Dress is your favorite Kanye song ever, so like it makes sense for it to be kind of lost in here, but I definitely don't think it should be. There are a ton of features on this song, and I'll be honest, right? I lose track of who's who. Like when it comes on, like, because I'm not even focused. Like, and I've said this before on like previous podcasts. Lyrics like don't matter to me. Like even in rap, like lyrics have never mattered to me. Lyrics can ruin a song, but lyrics don't make a song for me. I never hear like a mediocre beat or like something that's just sort of like generic, and then like really good lyrics over it, and then I'm like, oh damn.
Yeah, it's like a cherry on top type
Yeah,
thing.
it is. It's like if they're mediocre, I don't care. If they're bad, I notice. If they're good, awesome. Like,
talk about quotables here too.
Yes.
No, but there are.
Out of Kanye and Jay-Z, you got like Kanye's line. Talk about a pivot, like a complete 180 degree. Balding Donald Trump taking dollars from y'all, and now he's wearing a MAGA hat.
Oh
like talk about a one.
I thought you weren't talking about politics, dude.
That's as far as I'll go. But talk about a pivot. No, I know, but like
when I think
talk
of
about
quoting, when I think about quoting the song, because like you were saying, it's known as like a posse cut where like it's four more rappers and
Swizz
hip hop.
Beatz is on it.
Yeah, exactly. My favorite. I mean, I love how it was pointed out to me that this shit is fucking ridiculous. Like in the line is repeated, is repeated throughout almost. I think every rapper says it eventually. Like really emphasizing like the lyrical like analysis. This shit is fucking ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
Like in like it's said in almost every verse. But my favorite part of the song is when RZA is going.
Who?
RZA.
RZA.
I thought it was RZA.
It's RZA.
Bon Iver, Bon Iver. You can say
listen,
whatever you want.
Whatever it is, RZA. You know, whenever he was going, and it was towards like almost I think the chorus just before Swizz Beatz comes in at the very end, where he's just going like fucking ridiculous, and he was just like a solid repetition. Like it just made me so pumped up, and I really loved it.
He doesn't sound like he's just like reading his lyrics. He's like
he's feeling it.
That is fucking ridiculous. Like
yeah.
He is pissed about it, and just the repetition like that, like, and they all have different tones.
Yeah, and they each have a different message.
Like Kanye just sounds annoyed. He's like, "Oh, it's fucking ridiculous," and RZA is like,
he's angry.
Pissed.
Yeah, he's so mad.
Heated. Like
one of my favorite things when talking about the lyrics too was like, and the emotion behind it was when Jay-Z. I think his part is known as like,
I'm just so offended.
Yeah, like he was talking about like his career in the music industry and how like you have so many like opponents in it because it just pits you like against each other.
Yeah.
And then it goes into Pusha T's, which is just like, hey man, I sold cocaine and that's sweet. Like,
well, back to Jay-Z's, like the thing you were talking about. Would you rather be underpaid or overrated?
Yeah, I have that.
What
I
a
have that literally
line
written down.
there,
Yeah.
right? And then Pusha T. It's almost like just a middle finger to everybody in the world. Like CNN said, I'd be dead by 21. Like look at this, and he's got it. That's a whole nother podcast. We could just go on about Push.
No, that might be mine. Push is maybe
so good.
Maybe my favorite rapper.
He's in my top 3. He's Kanye, Push, and we'll find the third.
And like his brother, like so they were part of Clips.
Yeah.
When they come on Use This Gospel, which is one of my favorite Kanye songs of all time.
It's very good.
It's super short. They both spit like 8 bars. Like they have like 8 bars maybe, and then they're just gone.
Well, that was just a surprise.
Nobody come back.
That was a surprise Clips reunion.
Yeah. Well, no,
because
it was just Push at the beginning, and then Kanye went all full gospel, and then his brother, who's now a minister and does Christian rap,
after
came
he
back
got out
as
of jail, he was like, I'm just doing gospel now.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was like, Kanye, hit me up when you're going gospel, and he's like, 2020,
Got you.
be there.
Be there, be square. We'll be on a mountain doing a Sunday service. Meet me at the top of it.
Now,
bring an offering.
Now, the other heavy hitter.
Oh, here we go.
On this album, like. Well, I mean, there's so many heavy hitters, but like the other one where like So Appalled, Runaway, Devil in a New Dress.
Devil in a New Dress is
those
an incredible
are
song.
Those could be all three could be in my top 10 favorite songs of all time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Devil in a New Dress. It is just so clean. It's sexy. It's got that Smokey Robinson sample, which that song is great.
Love me.
And
some
it just
Smokey.
God.
It's also the only song on the album I think that's not technically produced by Kanye. It's produced.
I didn't know that.
No, so
Yeah.
here, right? And no one knows this, dude. You might. Do you know Mike Dean?
I have a note here to talk about the Mike D guitar solo because this was the
We're
start.
gonna talk about Mike Dean as a producer right now for
Yeah.
3 seconds because I didn't even know who he was. Drew, who was on the Strokes podcast or will be on the Strokes podcast with us, introduced me. He said, this is probably about a year and a half ago. Goes, do you know this dude named Mike Dean? And I was like, sounds familiar, like a music name. I don't know what he ever did. If you look through the Twisted Fantasy track listing, he is he's on it's M Dean on every single one.
Yeah.
The dude is a hit maker, certified. There's
Oh, yeah.
there's a Spotify playlist that I'll put it up on my Twitter. I'll share it through the MDC show Twitter. Because we can go through and that's something where like just listen to the songs. This dude is a certified hit maker. There's
Hitmaker
nothing-
and his tie-in with Kanye.
Oh no, he's
is
produced. He's
amazing.
produced
He's
every
produced a
major
ton,
Kanye
and
song.
He's shredded guitar in a
Shredded.
ton.
See, I didn't even
of
know that he
songs.
was a guitarist.
He that like kind of you can't even call it an outro because Rick Ross comes in afterwards. But like
Yeah.
that guitar when he's just ripping it, it's amazing. It's chills.
Yeah. My personal feelings for this song is that it has the best piano like backing out of all of the dude. Talk about smooth and like after this song, after I heard it, I went on YouTube and I'm like Devil in a New Dress piano cover and just listened to the piano cover and it's just so nice and soothing and like a great soundtrack to listen to. And this also has one of my favorite lyrical like verses. It's they're rhyming. It's the put your hands to the constellations. The way you look should be a sin.
You're
You
my
my sensation.
sensation.
I literally that line came on. I had to replay that like 3 times. I'm like, this
Yeah.
is so satisfying.
Yeah.
I got a big grin on my face just thinking about it.
Yep.
But yeah.
And another killer verse by Rick Ross. He comes in with the
Yes.
With that,
It's more
and
it's
he-
more Rick Ross. Literally, I'm not gonna lie to you. My notes here, and you can see them. What is it? Standard number 8, Devil in a New
does it
Dress.
say huh?
It's just,
It says
more. It says more fucking Rick Ross.
There is no other notes. It is one bullet point that says more fucking Rick Ross.
And he kills it. And you know what? Here's the story.
Give it to me, baby.
All right, here we go.
Lay it on thick, daddy.
So this was released as one of the Good Friday songs.
Okay.
It didn't have Rick Ross in it.
Shame.
Yeah.
When it comes on the album, you got Rick Ross at the end of that Mike Dean solo.
Satan.
This was considered because he had such a big part in the song. I mean, he had like the little intro in Monster.
Mm-hmm.
He had a full verse in this. And this is considered his clap back at 50 Cent because you know what 50 Cent did? Rick Ross was a former
No, he called him out for being a prison guard.
Yeah, he was a former correctional officer, and 50 Cent put him on blast. He's like,
called,
dude,
called him a narc.
Yeah,
yeah.
like, you're a narc, like fuck you. And
Rick Ross lost all of his street cred when they found out he was a cop.
yeah, and then he came back with this song, and that was kind of his big comeback and his middle finger to 50 Cent,
Yeah.
which I thought was interesting.
That's
Wait.
pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
Wait.
Like background of this.
You like the piano in Devil in a New Dress. The piano in Runaway is just so iconic.
Excellent transition.
So we go, and when we were talking about the piano in Runaway, so we went to see Kanye. Kanye gets up on stage. He had like a thing. He had like a little touchpad, right? Am I wrong? No, that was a different show. That
No,
was in his Yeezus tour. His
No,
Yeezus tour,
No,
he
are,
was just
are you talking about the one where he's wearing red and it's all white?
he's wearing like looks like tattered clothing and and like a helmet. He almost looks like he's in
Daft Punk.
Daft Punk. He's wearing like a Daft Punk sort of like mesh helmet, and he goes up on stage and he goes up to a MIDI touchpad and just goes ding, and everyone like loses their mind. And he
Oh,
runs
yeah,
on stage.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, what's going on? Yeah, that's the one thing where like this is so iconic as a piano thing. It's like 6 notes. It goes and
Just
it just
six?
rotates.
Okay.
'Cause he does one note for like
Oh,
13
yeah, each-
like 13 continuous measures. but incredible song. My favorite Kanye song. I don't even care that it's 9 minutes long. I don't care.
I have.
You don't like it for that reason.
So I think the pacing for the first I think 5.5 minutes before the ending instrumental, and he brings in purely I think it's called a vocoder, where like it distorts your voice even more to where like he's speaking into it, and he says one like audible thing, and then the rest is you can't make it.
You're talking about in the last bit.
In the last 3.5 minutes.
Yeah.
So after, well, he says,
No, so it sounds like it's supposed to sound like a guitar, but it's his voice through auto-tune, and
So
it,
that's
and,
what I'm
it
saying.
echoes it like follows the same rhythm as his
yeah, and
his
he
rapping.
used a vocoder to do it. I'm not sure about that equipment. I just know that's the name, but I think I think it's some of the best pacing, except for those last 3.5 minutes. The pacing of it is like it had me just long enough to I'm like, this is kind of boring, to like I was like, oh wow, I'm feeling this. Like it kept me in just long enough to where it hit it and started like actually like rapping into the verse, and I was like, oh wow, I greatly enjoy this. So yeah.
So, a story about this song. Sorry, I just got a lost
Here
story.
we go. I'm interested.
You're allowed to have them.
Yes.
So, Push, obviously, great verse. He was used to just being like, here's a beat, you write what you want, go for it. Kanye gave him the mindset, though, because this song's about, like when he says, let's have a toast to the douchebags, Push is the douchebag. That's why his lyrics, it's all about 24/7, 365, pussy stay on my mind. Yeah, and so he's supposed to be the douchebag, and Kanye made him rewrite that verse 4 times, and he told him like, no, I want this to be like the worst person you've ever met. He was like, I want that. I want it to sound like that.
I didn't even know that, dude.
Yeah, made him
what?
rewrite it 4 times, and Push was like, he was kind of annoyed. He's like, what the fuck? And also, he had gotten out of a long-term relationship, like right before that, and he was
Push
like,
did?
yeah, and he
This
was
is
like,
baby mama, yeah.
yeah, and he was like, I don't know if I can like do this, like I don't know if I can do this, and then he just kind of channeled all his energy
Yep.
and delivered an unreal verse, like
One of
what a-
my favorite features of all time.
Really?
yeah,
Okay.
amazing.
Yeah, no,
I
his
think it's
lyrics,
great.
I'm just young, rich, and tasteless.
What do
P.
So do you guys like the lyric, like the back? I mean, not the background, how the lyrics like speak to you? Because to me, talking about like the relationship stuff, and like to me, it's like Kanye can't fully commit to someone, like a woman. Like to me, I think it's the most emotionally impactful song
It's
on this
self-sabotage.
album. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
I say it's one of them. I don't think it's the most, but yeah.
Okay,
I agree. Yeah.
Personal opinion, you know. I just
yeah.
I really.
Always find something.
Yeah, because
wrong.
whenever you were telling me this, you're like, this is like one of my favorite on the album, if not your
Easily,
favorite.
Easily. It's
It-
my
it-
favorite Kanye song of all
So
time.
I didn't initially like it, and then I went through the lyrics, and I was like, all right, if I cut off the last 3.5 minutes, I really enjoy
where the
this.
lyrics are just,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
something.
Just 3.5 minutes of that, but
No, and it's really introspective.
yeah,
It's him like kind of revealing his flaws, just straight up, like yeah. And I mean, he'd already been broken up with Amber Rose by this time, so this is almost like a message to her, like yeah, like I always find something wrong, like
Yeah.
like
That's
like,
what
yeah,
happens.
we were engaged, it broke off, like very emotional and introspective, like, and it's like if you just listen to it, you're like, oh yeah, this is a cool like anthem, like whatever, but
Yeah.
no, there's a lot more to it.
The so I do really Runaway is 9 minutes, and it's one of those songs when you said it was originally going to be 20. I think I would actually really like to hear a 20-minute version. You can take a piss break. No, we'll talk. What do you have to say about Hell of a Life? Anything good?
What?
Anything about Hell of a Life? Or all right,
I'll
cool.
we can just cut this out too.
Yeah.
All right, do you want to just stop talking now? Take a break.
Yeah, we'll take a break.
Okay.
So, for as much of a universal high point on the album as Runaway is, surprisingly, because I like this song, Hell of a Life tends to be a universal low point. I love the song, but a lot of people put it down there and say, oh, they put it in the same group. They go, Hell of a Life, Drunken Hot Girls, Low Lights, Closed on Sunday. Like, they put those in, like, the trash songs.
I thought about killing you.
Thought About Killing You,
I
which
I really
like
like.
that song. I like this song. I like Drunken Hot Girls. I mean, a little less because it's kind of just whatever. But no, this song severely underrated.
Yeah, I agree.
I think so too. The one thing, or not even just one thing. The vocals in this are outstanding. The distortion from "Have You Lost Your Mind" is an incredible.
Well, you know what it's a
transition.
sample of.
Sample of Iron Man.
Yeah.
Oh, is
Bang.
it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
You don't know,
Iron Man.
Well, I
it's like-
kind because it sounded similar. But I was like,
It's like,
but it was.
"Have you-"
It's just one of my favorite transitions, like into that chorus of like, "Have you lost?" Like just so good, and I think it's one of the my favorite guitar moments. The fast drumming guitar throughout it, like, just sounds lit.
Well, it does. It sounds quite lit.
Sounds lit.
It sounds lit
Yes.
and yeet. I think it's one of the better samples. Iron Man gets sampled fucking all the time. And I think it's one of the better samples of Iron Man ever. That being said, Iron Man's a super fucking corny song.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good sample because it's low key. You don't. It's not like the. It's not using like the. I am Kanye West. It's like no. It's like he switched up the lyrics and it transitions into it
Yeah.
and then back out and I think the transitions the synth
yeah.
tickling. I don't
Yeah.
know, tickling the ivories
Yeah,
of the synth.
no, you got it.
Yeah,
you
the
got it.
tickling.
Probably.
And, and
Yeah.
then the 4 gunshots.
Tickle, tickle, tickle.
1, 2, 3. The 5 gunshots where it's like ba 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 ba, and then
Yeah.
right into the next verse.
I
Love the auto tune too.
Yeah,
I think
Odyssey
it's
sounds
one of
good.
I think it's one of my favorite outros too. When it starts with "I think I fell in love with a porn star and got married in the bathroom," and like that's one hell of a life. Like, it's only 5 lines, but probably one of my favorite outros. Hate the breathing at the end when he's just like,
Yeah,
it just
he's
is.
like,
he does- and
Yeah.
I'm like, can we just end this and wrap this up? Like, come
Well,
on.
here's something I noticed upon further review of this song in specific. When he says like, "That's one hell of a life," and he like goes like drags it out,
Yeah.
you don't hear the F sound in life. So you could say, "Oh, it's called Hell of a Life," so it sounds like hell of a life, or it's hell of a lie,
What?
and it's almost like he's living a lie. See?
Realize.
Lies. Yes.
Oh no.
Throwback to Instagram in 2011 when all the girls in middle school were
Realize. The I
come shot,
So-
comes hot.
come O2. Dude, we've been at this. I'm so fucking tired,
Sorry, I'm
bro.
4 bush heavies deep.
I can
in
tell.
Like,
Yeah, you're
in
gonna-
like an hour
You're
and a
getting
half.
a little loose. Our camera cut out completely.
Whoa,
by the way,
it's not his fault. Don't play the blame game. All right.
stop! I was so close. No, all right. So there's one more thing I have
Wait,
to
no,
say
no,
about
no,
Hell
no.
of a Life.
I, and I have one story about Hell.
That was a really good one, but
It's
you
fine.
could have
I'll
saved
cut
it.
it afterwards.
No, you could just say it again. No,
Okay,
leave
yeah.
this first cut in and say it again after.
Just yeah.
Say your thing.
Here's a little tidbit about this song. Kanye, he's like very visual with his words here. He's like talking about like, oh, married a porn star, blah blah blah. Nikki, during the studio sessions for this album, she gave an interview and she was talking about like all the things he did in the studio, and she said, yeah, like he really likes nudity. He's open with nudity, all this stuff. She's like that kind of links into like his
He
early, like-
modeled Caitlyn Jenner's like tits.
Yeah, no. It's like it goes back to like it like you can see it in like his fashion where it's like a lot of the stuff he'll take models and like doing like nude clothing for them, like that type
He
of
does.
stuff. Like,
He does do a lot of nude colors. His
Yeah.
nude color palettes. Tons
Yeah.
of nude color
Yeah.
palettes.
and Nikki said
And shoes with holes in them.
she would walk into the studio, like during the Twisted Fantasy sessions, and
Penis out.
What?
Penis out.
No, close. He would just be. He'd have just like albums and albums of like online albums of like nudes, and he'd just be like full like no, yeah, just like swiping through them.
Like a newspaper.
She said he like loves nudity, and he would just sit there like not even doing it with himself, and he would just watch porn
So there's
right in the studio, like full on.
So
porn,
Kanye's
right in the
first
studio.
Kanye's first music thing that he ever did. Do you know what it was?
No.
So it was
I don't
he
know.
wrote a soundtrack for like like an X-rated
Like a
Mario.
porno?
No, it was like an X-rated Mario game. He did the music for it, and it's like a nudity Mario game. It's like an old like whatever video game. Might not be Mario, and I need to research that more. But it is like when I heard that, I was like, yeah, makes sense. So like if he's been obsessed with nudity since he was like 16, yeah, I believe it. The the one thing you said you didn't like about this song, and then we'll transition off, and you
Yeah,
can say your joke again because
yes.
it was a funny joke. It was a great transition.
Thank you.
We're just killers at transition. We're just trying to keep
This
this
is great.
thing
Yeah.
fucking moving. Then the beat falls out, and you're like, I don't really like the heavy breathing or whatever. I like the turn signal thing when it goes like do 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 do
Oh,
do
okay,
do,
yeah.
do. I do like that. It's weird for sure.
Yes.
Um,
Seems out of place a little
I
bit.
don't hate it. I don't hate it.
Yeah.
All
right.
But like Brendan, you're being so rude.
No, you're being rude.
Whoa, guys. Let's not play the blame game, all right?
Whoa,
What?
nice
Andrew?
transition.
Hell yeah!
Thank you,
High
guys.
fives
Yeah,
all around. High
around.
fives. All right.
So speaking of the blame game, one of the smoothest rappings on this album before the Chris Rock part.
This is
Yes.
my favorite piano hook on the entire album.
Okay.
More than Runaway.
Really?
Absolutely love this piano hook. It is so beautifully done, and the song as a whole is perfect. It would be one of my favorite Kanye songs. Chris Rock comes in with 2 minutes left. Who gave Chris Rock a 2-minute stand-up set? Chris Rock is hilarious. I don't want to.
Yeezy gave it to him.
Yeezy topic.
I don't want to hear about Chris Rock being like, I've never been to this part of Pussy Town before. Who reupholstered your pussy?
Yeezy reupholstered
my
Love
pussy.
that
Fucking,
line.
oh my god. It goes on forever. It
All right,
never ends.
I'll get to that in a second. But this song, sadly, if we go back to my rankings, sadly it just fell because it's one of my favorite songs. It's so emotional
Yeah.
and really sad, and when he's like, I heard the whole thing, that's how it transitions into the Chris Rock part. And that's supposed to be a skit of him,
Kanye calls
his
girlfriend.
his ex-girlfriend,
Yes.
and she, I don't know, I guess almost
I don't think doesn't answer.
pickups.
Gets
Doesn't answer,
Yeah.
but he hears everything through the phone, and he hears all that shit. But
yeah.
a few notes.
And are you gonna go through your notes? Oh, okay, I thought he was gonna talk. Oh, okay. So I'm agreeing with you, Anthony. I think out of all of the chaos in this album and all the hype, I even had this in my notes. It was the soothiest, song. Dude, I don't even say it.
Soothiest.
Whatever it is, it felt the piano and it just
most soothing. Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah.
It is so. It's almost like a piano. The first time I heard Christmas in Harlem, it's the same piano. I'm not a music theory guy. I don't know if it's an octave or the same notes, but the same range.
Yeah.
Where it is it hitting the same thing. So I already have this I love Christmas in Harlem. That is my one of my favorite Kanye songs, and this tickles that exact same grundle.
Ivory. Sorry.
Gooch.
Yes, Grundle. A lot of people don't like the second verse, vocal changes, when literally every 3 words it's changing from speakerphone to muffled to Kanye rapping to auto-tune, stuff like that. I like that. Do I understand the deeper meaning of it? No, but I
Absolutely
think it's
not.
interesting, and I enjoy it. I know you're a big fan of this, Andrew.
I probably one of my favorites. I keep saying this, but not my favorites on the album, but I really love this song. I don't really honestly mind the whole. I wish if I was gonna listen to this, I wouldn't listen to the Chris Rock thing. I think it adds a good element to the story he's trying to tell. Whether it should be placed in a song.
Do you think the Chris Rock thing adds an element to the story that's being told? What the fuck
Yes.
does it add?
Here's the thing. There.
Yeezy taught me.
No, here's the thing I wanted to mention. So
How'd
this
you
is-
make your pussy so big? Yeezy did it.
Oh god.
Yeezy plowed me.
I've never been to this part of your pussy before. You've got new avenues of your pussy.
No, here's the thing. So, I think it's comedic. It's hilarious.
Do it as an interlude.
No, but
You could do it as an
listen,
interlude
no,
like you do
that's
at the
what
beginning
I
of
was
the
about to
thing.
No, but
say,
that's
yeah.
that's the transition. It transitions in where he's like, I heard the whole thing, and it transitions to that. There's a hidden message there. Obviously, it's about Amber Rose.
Okay. I'll
It's
take
about Amber
that.
Rose. And when he says man, I can't believe you got me this watch. I love this watch. Man, look at this. I can't believe you got it for me. Kanye had gotten Amber Rose a very obviously very expensive, to me very expensive would be $500, but ridiculously expensive watch. And she gave it to Wiz Khalifa when she started dating him.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's the watch part in there. That's like the little hidden message that I picked up on. But I appreciate the Chris Rock part.
He goes on. So I undershot it. Chris Rock starts. It doesn't shut up for 2.5 minutes.
It is long. It's 2.5 minutes. Yeah.
It's long.
2 minutes and 30 seconds is a little more than that. Is when he starts. My thing is that I can't stop imagining Marty the zebra from Madagascar saying all of this. That's in my head. Is really you reupholstered my pussy. Like that is like that's all I hear is fucking Marty the zebra.
When Madagascar come out?
2005.
Oh gosh. No. What? Really?
Well, yes.
2006?
So Madagascar 2 probably came out, or 3 or 4 or 5.
Was I right? Did I
You
nail it?
Nailed
I
it.
nailed it, dude.
Well, when did 2, 3, 4, and 5 come out?
Yeah, I'm not gonna look that up. But
Yeah, no.
so I was gonna say,
Yep.
what like an outerlude it should have been the Chris Rock thing. And
I definitely think so too.
and speaking of things that would be lost in the world of this place of the album stretch. Anyway,
Brandon, what did you have? You had something to say about this one?
Oh, you want to say another thing, dude? Yeah.
No, I had the I just said I was signaling I want the transition.
Oh, sorry. Go for it.
Let's have a good one. I think you guys are gonna high five me. So, Blame Game is about the end of his love for Amber Rose. Now, Lost in the World, the next song, talks about. I'm blowing this.
Oh,
but hey, all
I'll
right,
give you a high five. You did
no,
a terrible
I don't deserve it. I'm
job.
not taking it. I'll just
You did a terrible
but-
job.
But that
You tried
Blame
so
Game,
hard.
you go right from Blame Game, which talks about the end of his love with Amber Rose,
Yeah.
right into Lost in the World, which is about how he feels lost
Yeah.
after breaking up with Amber Rose and the death of his mother. But at the end, you kind of get this like joyous, like hopeful feeling with the layered vocals and the beat and everything, and the lyrics where he's like, "You're my devil, you're my angel, you're my heaven, you're my hell," is actually pulled from an email that he sent to Kim K.
Yeah.
When in the early talk about throwback email instead of a text, right? Like he met Kim at a party and she's like, "Oh, here's my
He
email."
beeped her.
Yeah.
He beeped her line.
Yeah. He dialed her up on the rotary
Yeah.
phone. Yeah, no, but
Mr. Telephone Man, please put me through.
yeah, no, and so I think that's really interesting. It shows like the growth and the transition
Yeah.
like from one to another.
I love the placement of almost every song in this album. For some reason, the intro to this, where it's about same thing as like Dark Fantasy, it's like a minute before it really gets into it. It's like
You're talking
soft.
about, we're talking about Lost in the World.
Yeah, Lost in the World. So the intro to this is so crisp and clean. It sounds like it could be an opening to another album or the opening to this album. Like for some reason, the way it's presented just feels so good. But the placement is correct based on what you're saying. Like going from the Amber Rose breakup to now like the Kim K, like finding love again and stuff. I think it's great placement, and it's probably one of my top 3 in this album. So
The
Well,
layered. No, go ahead.
No, you go.
It's easily some of my favorite vocals on this entire album.
yeah,
The layered electronic harmonies with Bon Iver are so good. Like they hit everything. It's a wall of sound. Just not even like a wall of sound like the way we talk about it with like garage rock. It's a wall of sound in terms of vocal, just like power, hitting every single note in a giant thing. It sounds like a chorus of 80 people are singing at all different ranges.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say this goes back to another Bon Iver, like connection. He sampled a Bon Iver song. I forget what it was, but that's a sample from a Bon Iver song.
Is it really?
Yeah.
really didn't know that.
But I think this is like the smoothest thing in the world. I equated it to pouring melted butter on a velvet carpet. But yeah, so I think I don't really even usually like hip house that much. Hip house is a really like lame genre to me, and that's what this is. Hip house is basically it's a house beat. It's like just your standard like boom 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 goes all the way through, and then over the top of it is like hip hop whatever. So Chance in his last Trainwreck took a shot at hip house. Terrible. People do it all the time. Drake does it sometimes and stuff like that. It's just it can be done well. I don't usually like it. This is a very, very, very good song. This is a song that was completely lost on me until I've gone through and done this re-listen. So I wanted to go ahead and thank you, Brendan. And I also want to give you the floor because I feel like you got something to say.
I do. So I think this is a great finale, and I say finale even though it's not the last song on the album. It rolls right into Who Will Survive in America.
It's the same song.
Great transition.
That was a good transition.
Yep, thank you.
Yes.
Not a big deal.
When I first heard it, I didn't even know that they were two different songs. So I listened to it and I wasn't like looking at my phone watching for each song to turn
It
because I
seems
have
pretty
them all. I
seamless.
had them all fade into each other and they faded into it perfectly and it just goes like and it then Who Will Survive in America is only like a minute and a half long. And it's the same like the vocals cut out and it's just the African drum and like the hard like doom 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 going all the way through. I it's not my favorite. Like I get the ending of it. I didn't think about the lyrics as deeply as maybe I should have. You know, I feel like he kind of asked me to think about lyrics deeply. Did you do any thinking about it?
Yeah, so I looked it up. The lyrics are a sample of a Gil Scott Heron poem,
Oh,
and
okay.
he pops up in My Way Home, also, which is on College Dropout. It's on College Dropout.
Yeah.
So he's also sampled there. He's a big influence in Kanye's life, and actually, Gil Scott Heron died months after this album dropped, and Kanye was asked to perform at his funeral. So he performed Who Will Survive in America, I think, and I think he did My Way Home as well. And so I just think Lost in the World and Who Will Survive in America, they mesh well, but it's also completely opposite meanings. 'Cause Lost in
Yeah.
the World leaves on a really hopeful note. It's like, yeah, Kanye describes his struggles through all these years prior to Twisted Fantasy. And at the end, he does the blame game, which is like, yeah, all that shit sucked. Like it's tough to get over. Right into Lost in the World, it's hopeful. And it leaves on like an ominous note with Who Will Survive in America. Like, it's like, yeah, like I see the problems. Like I'm trying to get better myself, but like, is fame gonna take me down? Like, is it gonna get the best of me? Like I don't know. I think it really kind of it's ominous to me. It really leaves on like a shaky note.
And
Like not shaky in a bad way, but
This
shaky in
this
like an
album as a
uneasy
whole
way.
is ominous. Like it is just it is the ramblings of I don't even want to call him a madman. I don't want to because that's not fair
He's
to
not.
him. It's not fair to him. It's the ramblings of someone who has a lot to say, and to our benefit and to Kanye's benefit, no filter.
Well, in a Rolling Stone interview, like when this album came out, he was
Yeah.
talking about like a lot of artists talk about how like their greatest art comes from pain. And he's like, no, like, and he got really, really visibly excited. Like, it's a video interview with him. Like, this is on before the album was released. Like when he went on his tour and he just walked into Rolling Stone one day and started
Interview
like,
me.
Yeah, no, and just started like,
Where are your suits?
no, he stood in front of like, it looked like the TMZ office where everybody's sitting at like their cubicle desk and like, what's his name? Harvey? Is that the guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, Harvey's at the top. He's like, no. Who's got this store? And he goes around, but like Kanye's like standing in that spot, like talking to all these random like Rolling Stone employees, and he's like, my greatest artistic inspiration comes from joy. It's the stuff I enjoy the most.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean that's
Yeah, I don't.
That's interesting though, because I still equate like I mean the reason we started podcasting and I started like watching reality TV again and like commenting and stuff like that is like quarantine. I found it was in a job that I hated, so like I always job I still do, but I getting like having a creative outlet out there, venting all this frustration, being able to have something and actually feel like your voice matters and create something. Creating stuff is crazy, dude.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, like he says his greatest art comes from joy and like excitement
Yeah.
and happiness and passion, but let me tell you the art that he makes that comes from pain and suffering and like struggles
It's pretty fucking good.
is amazing. And I like happy Kanye better than sad Kanye. I like stable Kanye better than unstable Kanye, but I love his creative expression in everything he does.
Yeah, I agree. What did you I mean obviously you thought very highly of this album. After listening to it all the way through, but you had already done. So like we'll talk about it
I've
a little
done
bit.
it like 30 plus times.
But going through, but you hadn't gone through it when you had been going through it before. You were like doing it to like rank it. So you were looking at the song, but you didn't dig into all the deeper meaning. Do you have a general the exercise of going through and like learning about this stuff and just researching and just going without a general plan, just being like, hey, I have to be able to talk about this for fucking like 2 hours.
2 hours and 15.
Jesus Christ. What did you tell me about that?
About just the process behind
Going through like no, tell me about like what you thought about actually going through and listening to an album with this sort of analytical lens.
Well, so I kind of had it already just because I've listened to it so much that you get past like this song bumps, like this song vibes, or whatever, and you get to the point where you're like, oh, like you pick up on a line, you're like, oh, I didn't really hear that before. So like I've already had kind of like a deeper understanding of it, and then once you said like, hey, pick your favorite album, come on the pod, I was like, I know my favorite album and I know what I'm gonna do, and I knew a lot about it, and then I found a few new things that I shared today, like that, like just stuff I found interesting and didn't know before, like. I didn't know Nicki was the first voice on the track
That's
or something like that.
bizarre. That's so
Yeah.
crazy to me.
And then, yeah, so it was just, I guess it's like they're like books and like movies that people watch and they're like, or they read and they're like, oh, like every time you read it or watch it, like you pick up on something new. It's like Pulp Fiction or Shawshank or something like that. Like everybody's like, oh, like yeah, like yeah, I rewatch value is high. The re-listen value on this is through the roof. It's on.
Oh,
No, and
yeah.
that's something. It's like so how we do this, and we've said it a couple of times is, Brendan gave us his favorite album a few weeks ago. We put him on a schedule, and we go ahead and we give ourselves a week. We started listening on Monday night.
Yes.
It is now Saturday night that we're recording this. I exclusively, like, I refuse to listen to any Kanye song, or not like any songs off of Twisted Fantasy before I gave myself that stopwatch to actually do it after I found out his album. So when I was going through and I was listening to all of it, I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to have to sit here and think about it. And I thought this album would get really boring and really old to me, especially because a
Yeah.
lot of the songs are very long and, like, I don't listen to albums all the way through. I'm still getting used to that. Like, this never got old.
No, I had the
Not
same
at all.
thing. Yeah, where it just didn't feel like it was getting old. Listened through it a couple times. I mean, it was just, I don't know. I think it's the element of actually analyzing it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not listening
Yeah.
for, like, it's pleasurable to listen to, but it's actually like, oh, I have to think about it. I have to be able to converse with someone about it.
Have dialogue, have opinions.
Exactly. So it just feels like, it just feels like it's a natural thing not to get bored of it because I find something new and interesting to say, or I look into it, I'm like, oh, this is what he meant, or it has this beat for this reason, or this vocalist for, you know what I mean? Like, this album was so good as a concept album because it has so many stories to tell. And you were going on about for like 40 minutes, and that was just bare bones stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
I could talk about each
Clearly.
song, and I could talk about
Clearly.
this. This could be a 5-hour podcast.
Exactly.
If we
Oh,
were
boy.
just shooting the
we're
shit.
already halfway there.
I want to give kudos to anyone who's listened up to this point and has made it fucking over 2 hours with us, because I haven't even made it 2 hours.
And to reward you for listening, I have compiled a list of my favorite quotes.
Totable quotables?
Favorite totable quotables from Ye.
Go for it.
Just Kanye. Just things that he said. And then a little bit of the Chris Rock. But all right. So much head I woke up in Sleepy Hollow. Which I looked it up.
What?
I looked it up. It
That's the old, like, the dude gets his head chopped off, he's the headless horseman or whatever.
Yeah, there's not a lot of head in Sleepy Hollow. There's a
There's-
headless horseman.
One might say there's no head in Sleepy
Yeah.
Hollow.
So, double entendre? Deeper meaning?
Question
Maybe.
mark?
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
Too many Urkels on your team, that's why your win's low.
Great line.
Great
Come on.
That's why your
man.
win's low.
Got caught with 30 rocks in the... got caught with 30 rocks. The cop looked like Alec Baldwin.
That one's kinda-
Bars.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's
Bars.
bars. It references the show, but also it's like white cop. Like
It's
a
yeah,
standard
yeah,
white cop looks like
yeah,
Alec
yeah,
Baldwin.
Yeah.
Choke a South Park writer with a fish stick. We
Yeah.
don't know
Yep.
that. All the haters that tried to blackball me forgot about two things. My
My
black,
black
balls.
balls.
Come on.
Yeah.
I love it.
I was the abomination of Obama's nation, which goes back to when Obama called him a jackass.
Sure was.
Man, that feels like we were talking about that 12 hours ago.
We were talking about it an hour and a half ago.
That was, yeah.
Maybe the greatest line on the album
Oh,
comes
I'm
from
excited.
Monster.
I'm excited for
Ever
this.
have sex with the pharaoh? I put the pussy in a sarcophagus.
Yep.
Great line.
Yep.
Order the jerk. She said, "You are what you eat."
Ooh.
Great line.
He's a jerk.
He is a jerk.
She
She thinks he's
tell
a
you
jerk.
what, give us your best favorite quote to end off on.
We got a few more. I'm so gifted at finding what I don't like the most. Just very deep. Found pictures in my emails. I sent this bitch a picture of my dick. The good one. And then this is the last one and also the best one.
Perfect.
Off Hell of a Life.
Please.
Yes. Great song.
Make a nun come, make her cremate.
And on that note, thank you so much for listening to my beautiful dark twisted fantasy episode of Music Discovery Club. We love doing this for you guys. Brendan, I want to go ahead and say thank you so much for coming and bringing this to our attention. You have been a great guest so far. We'll have you on again. You're back, bro. Like
Yes.
you're in. As long as you just stop delaying our recording and making it so we do 2.5-hour podcasts, because I'm trying to go home because I'm tired and now I'm in the middle of the suburbs and I don't like it down here.
All right. Well, if you just next time just let me talk as fast as I can, and once I stop talking, you can talk. That'll be great. I got a lot to say about Kanye albums. Next time I come on, I have a few others in my thoughts, but
We'll work through it. We'll work through it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Brendan,
to see
Brendan,
what
why
you bring
don't
to
you
the table.
why don't you go ahead and plug your socials?
I have an Instagram. If you find it, you can follow. I have a Twitter. It's at bmachow1, also known as teen boarding legend Johnny Capahala. Follow me, don't follow me, I don't care. I just want to say thank you for having me. I have one friend that I could talk about Kanye for hours on end with, and I'd like to bring him on maybe sometime, because Max is a fucking hilarious
Well,
It
kid.
isn't fucking me.
Is it you?
We just talked for 2 straight
No,
hours,
no,
dude.
I know.
We can have you on when the new album drops.
Yeah.
Yeah, in like 3 years.
Yeah,
That's not gonna drop
no,
in 3 years.
We could do Kanye Watch. We'll just sit here. We could literally just record a podcast leading up to when a podcast is supposed to
Do
drop.
you want to just drop it? I'll drop out of school. You quit your job, and we just sit here and talk and shoot the shit
Just for hours.
years.
Just
Yeah, you guys can
live
do that.
mics. It's a
Months.
live. It's art. It's like modern art. We just sit here with mics on us all the
yeah.
time.
No. So what I was saying, just like outside of this, there's only like one close friend I can talk about Kanye for hours on
Yeah.
end with. I did it with you guys. It was really fun. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for being our guest.
You're fabulous. You've done an excellent job. Andrew, as always, it's been a pleasure to speak with you, and I think we'll be having a couple more of these coming out in the very near future, including some very, very interesting ones that I'm super excited about.
So
We
excited.
have a guest on the way, and I don't actually know how these are going to go out, so maybe the guest already happened.
Is his
but
name Dad?
Don't spoil. That's a different one. He will be on at some point. Pops McLaughlin is going to be on, but we have a guest who may have already been on or will be coming on, who is eccentric to say the least.
Love it.
Dude's an
Yes.
absolute electric rod. So, as always, so this video is gonna go up on YouTube. It's a little fractured. There's gonna be a black screen for the
It's
last
gonna be
half of
half
it.
video and
Half
half
of it's
black
gonna be
screen.
yeah. So this is gonna be up on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. This is gonna be up on Spotify and up on iTunes. So on Spotify, you can toss us a follow, and you can just go through and it'll every time we release a new podcast, we'll release it weekly. It'll show up. You'll get a notification. You can just listen to it there. It's like an automatic download. That's great for us. We love the downloads. We love to hear what you guys have to say about this. And where you can leave any of your feedback for us is you can tweet at me at MDC Show. We're also on Instagram at MDC Show, I believe.
I believe so.
We're gonna get that.
We're gonna
locked
figure
down.
that out.
But I'll tweet a link to the Instagram in there too. So definitely hit us up there. Or we always appreciate if you give us a comment and a 5-star rating on Spotify. On iTunes. That's huge for us. It helps with our related search terms. So we're trying to get our podcast out there as many people as we can. So when podcasts come up and we're always recommended based on our engagement with our fans. So if you really like what we do and you like supporting us, the easiest and the best way you can do so, and we are so grateful if you are so inclined to do so, is for you guys to leave us a comment and a rating. We love doing this for you guys. I want to hear suggestions too. If any, I do want. We're blowing this thing out, dude.
Yes.
This is a
so
full-blown
fun.
operation.
We have so many also good ideas for bits and different types of episodes for this. It's going to be great.
I cannot wait to be able to quit my job with you.
Same. Well,
You haven't
yeah.
even started.
Yeah, I haven't even started.
But thank you so much for listening to this episode of MDC Show. My name is Anthony.
My name is Andrew,
Squirts McGee.
and we'll
talk to you guys
next time.
later. Yeah.